And we are live. Hey, everybody, this is Roberto Blake. Help you create something awesome today. Welcome back to another round, a Friday YouTube channel reviews. Last week, I ended up doing these on a Saturday to make it up to you guys. I was having some issues on my end, but it is a Friday night. We've got channel reviews for you guys. We also are going to dive into a little bit of YouTube analytics. As you know, one of the only creators who ever publicly show things on their analytics. I've even shown, and I can do it now, my lifetime earnings for the channel when it comes to the YouTube analytics and the YouTube partner program. I'm actually one of the first creators that ever actually did that live on air and in public back in the old days. I think in 2015, I hired a lawyer to actually help me with the YouTube terms of service, because back then there was a superstition that you could not share what your ad revenue was publicly. So I hired a lawyer to help me debunk that. I was one of the first YouTubers to ever do that. So once I did, and people were like, "Hey, aren't you going to get kicked out of the partner program? Aren't you going to get kicked out of the partner program?" Nope. It was totally legit and legal to be able to do that. So I have been transparent and sharing things like my own ad revenue for years and years now. I've been doing these public channel reviews. I believe that we have done over 5,000 public channel reviews since 2015, 2016, when I started doing this almost 10 years ago. And before that, I grew from 0 to 100,000 on my YouTube channel by taking it seriously in 2013. So in 2013, in the summer of 2013, I had zero audience. I had only sporadically uploaded to YouTube. I started this account mostly commenting on other people's stuff in 2009. I was an OG YouTuber, didn't work out with doing a channel with my friends back in 2006. So I'm a super OG YouTuber. Did this channel in 2009, and then I didn't take it seriously until 2013. I had become a full-time freelancer. I had left or was leaving my 9 to 5 job at the time. My goal wasn't to be a full-time YouTuber. I wanted to build my own freelance agency, which I did. I ended up doing marketing and consulting, managing YouTube channels for businesses, editing videos for businesses and small businesses and companies, conferences, event companies, things like that. So then I successfully grew my own YouTube channel from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. In February of 2015, I had 20,000 subscribers. And then by April, May of 2016, I had 100,000 subscribers. Then I kept growing by 100,000 subscribers per year, pretty much right until the pandemic. I also moved right before the pandemic, so that didn't help matters with slowing me down. And then during the pandemic, I moved again. I bought a house. And so then, you run into the problem that happens when you stop uploading 80% of the amount of videos you used to upload. Anyway, I always say all of that for people who may or may not be familiar with me and my story and how I grew my YouTube channel, and how after I got 100,000 subscribers is when I started working with other content creators. I didn't start helping other people and really coaching them until I had 100,000 subscribers. I was doing tech and tutorial and camera review content. You guys know I'm a big old camera nerd. I actually, whoops, big old camera nerd and a big old klutz. So I review like all the camera gear. I have like and own everything. I have up to the third generation of DJI drones. I have some FPV drones. I have the Neo and the Avata. I have the Avata 2 actually. And I have the first lineup of the Mavic Pro drones. I have all the DJI wireless microphone stuff. So I have this stuff, and we will eventually be bringing back some of the gear guides for the channel. Plus, me and my brother will probably revive my small tech channel that I only ever did 2 videos for during the pandemic. We'll probably end up reviving the Creator Gear Guide channel and just do a bunch of stuff on drones, cameras, lights, and microphones. We've built a streaming setup in the basement as well. We've built another YouTube set, not only here in my office, but we actually have another set. We have 2 or 3 more YouTube sets in the house, mostly in the basement, still doing renovations down there. We've got channel reviews coming up for anybody who submits them. We do have a slot for 10 of those. The rules for the channel reviews are in the descriptions. And we've been doing these for a while now. If you want to watch previous channel reviews and what we've done, then you can see that. We also have in the past, we've had returning people bring back their channel reviews. We've been showing people's growth. One of the big successes through the channel reviews has been the YouTuber Ask Papa. He's also in the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group. I believe when he first submitted his first channel review, looking for a little help and advice on his channel, I think back then, and Doug, you can correct me. One of our moderators is in the chat who would know. Doug, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think Ask Papa had less than 5,000, definitely less than 6,000 subscribers when he came and asked for a channel review a couple of months ago. He is at now, I believe, 17,000, almost 18,000. Actually, I can bring it up here. You guys can see for yourself. So Ask Papa is absolutely crushing it. Really solid here. And I'm going to show you what's going on with the videos here. I just need to scroll down. But great YouTuber. And I believe when he came to us looking at a channel review, it was a couple of months ago, and I believe he had 5,000 subscribers. There were some recommendations that we made, and I think it's roughly right around here is when he came and asked for a review. And then, as you can see, over the last couple of months, and he's done a couple of updated channel reviews since, he's even joined the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group. You can see how it's been going for him, and he's doing fantastic, built a great community, had some breakout videos. This one, we already told him what went wrong there, went right awry there, but it's been working, and he's been killing it. And, we couldn't be happier for him, but he's had some really tremendous breakout and outlier videos ever since then. And he's been telling this really great story about this tiny home he built for his family, including his daughter and his grandchildren in he and his wife's retirement. And so you just love to see this kind of thing. Interesting insight from his channel. You'd be shocked about this. The overwhelming majority of the viewership is now from smart TVs rather than mobile phones, which a lot of people drastically underestimate this thing that's happening with YouTube now. So with YouTube, a big thing that's been happening has been the transition to television viewers on smart TVs. So Doug in the chat is actually telling me that Ask Papa's first review was in February 21st, and he was at 1.6 K5 subscribers. So February would be what, 5 months ago? So if we scroll back to where the channel was about 5 months ago, then that's right about here. That's right about here. And this is how the channel was doing a couple of months ago, with him starting a YouTube channel at 54. And so I believe that this was the most successful video on their channel back then, or they had just made this video maybe, or they hadn't made it just yet. And then you can see from there the improvement to the channel. I'm glad we've been keeping track of this in the spreadsheet. But yeah. I don't know if there are any YouTubers who still do free YouTube channel reviews. I'm sure some people do those in Discord somewhere or something like that. But, as it is, I do coaching one-on-one with YouTubers. I've been doing it for years. This year, I'm actually doing a talk at VidCon again. I believe it's my 4th year speaking at VidCon. This is the second time that speaking at VidCon is all falling on my birthday. So I believe the first time I spoke at VidCon on my birthday was June 21st of 2018. And so it falls on my birthday. I spoke at VidCon last year. I believe I spoke at VidCon the year before. I also did VidCon virtually, I think twice during the pandemic. So this actually might be the 5th time that I've spoken at VidCon. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going down if you're going to be in the California, Anaheim area and you're going to be at VidCon. I'm going to be speaking on the creators track, I think giving my 5th talk at VidCon. And it's going to be a really good one. It's called Big Creator Energy. how to stand out in a saturated niche and grow from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. I've coached probably 800 YouTubers or more in my career now. In the last 2 years, I've coached over, I think, 100 YouTube gamers specifically, working with mostly mobile gamers with Supercell and AMG. Coached several channels to silver and gold play buttons. And so I've been doing this for a very long time. If you are the kind of person who wants or needs a free channel review, I don't know or remember if any YouTube educators are still doing those without super chats. Maybe I think vidIQ does thumbnail reviews exclusively. Those are out there for people, but this is something I've been doing successfully for a long time. And so we find that people who invest in it tend to take it a little bit more seriously and do it. We get plenty of free advice all the time. And the best free advice I think I give is probably on X. I think also the articles that I've been writing on LinkedIn, breaking things down. For people who just don't know where to start and need a little boost, I actually have a little something I recommend now that I wrote up for you. And it's actually called YouTube Baby Steps. It's very much inspired by Dave Ramsey. So we have YouTube Baby Steps. And for anybody who's just 100% lost, this is kind of an answer I came up with, was to just spell it out plain and simple for everybody. Just do these things. We also created a 12-week training free on this YouTube channel. If you go to my live tab over on YouTube, we have 12 weeks. It's also on my homepage channel. We have 12 weeks of free training specifically designed for people that are under 20,000 subscribers. So I'm going to link you to YouTube Baby Steps over on the website here. And if you're someone who just has no idea what good advice looks like or where to start, you could start with YouTube Baby Steps. And so hopefully there will be people who find that helpful. It's one of the things I've really thought hard about, of what should you do if you just don't have a clue whatsoever where to start and what you need to do as a YouTuber. And I made it as plain and clear as I possibly could. Also, we have living in Omaha. David says, "Hey Roberto, just listening to other people's reviews is a great way to learn what principles to apply to your own channel." Absolutely, absolutely. So we have the first channel in the queue here. Thank you, Doug, for putting that in the form, and thank you to Little Crafty Nook. Yep. So let's go ahead and bring up their channel here. And the way that the reviews work, for those unfamiliar, is I'm going to give one compliment on something being done well that should continue to happen on the channel. One thing I would change immediately right away that I think is holding the channel back. And then finally, my best overall piece of advice that I think will help the channel be successful. So we're going to do that. It's going to be constructive criticism. I'm not here to roast anybody. I'm not here to make people feel bad, but I am going to tell you the truth. It might sometimes not be what you want to hear, but it will be me giving you the review the best way I know how. So let's start with Little Crafty Nook. Little Crafty Nook's been a long time supporter of the channel, so really appreciate you wanting to do a review here. One thing I always bring up at first is things like the channel banner and the profile pic. I actually like this cleverly creative card making. I like this phrase. One thing about your channel banner though is it's not a full size enough image that goes edge to edge, and this won't look great on all devices. You want the edge to edge because of how you want to check how your channel banner looks on television screens. Like I said, more people are watching YouTube on smart TVs these days, and then make sure you're checking it on devices. like, your smartphone and your desktop, as well as those smart TVs and how your channel looks. I think the profile pic of you here is fine. I think this is great. What I will say is if you could improve this channel banner and make the tagline here easier to read. I don't mind you saying encouraging creativity and spreading love. I think that's a great message. I do think what could be nice is if somehow in this section there's a way to put your channel schedule of when you upload just to help people with expectations. Your YouTube icon and name here is too small to see on most devices. It'd be impossible for me to see this if I take my glasses off, for example. Probably completely unreadable on a smartphone. So it doesn't need to be there and it's not adding anything of value. Um, I don't hate this overall background, but it's possible that it could just represent more of what the style is even going to be when you experience the videos. So those are things to keep in mind. And for all of you, maybe having your schedule of how often you upload in the banner, if you have a schedule, or at least the consistency to set expectations, that could be super helpful. So your about section says, I started my homemade greeting card journey when I was encouraged through a dear friend who is now gone. This is a heartwarming message. Um, I might shorten this to I started my creative journey just to shorten up the amount of words so that they can see this more clearly. And then I think it's fine that you're, explaining this, and I think it does very well. You have your main link as your Buy Me a Coffee link for you to get support. I think that's perfect. You're at 1.5K subs. Congratulations. You shouldn't feel bad that it's been 186 videos because you're also in a very, very specific niche. Let's go to the videos themselves. Actually, let's stay on the homepage for a second. So something that I think you've done very well here that should be pointed out is you have filled out some featured playlist on your channel. So this is actually going to play out very well for you on most devices. So I'm glad that you at least have this. Um, I don't think you need to date the projects. I think that if you're going to do seasonal themes, you could just have them up to date. So it doesn't need to be a Halloween projects 2023, but I think you should consider that, and you have the Christmas here. Maybe consider another playlist that might be spring and maybe another holiday so that it fills that out a little bit more because you have winter, you have Halloween, you have Christmas. Maybe having something for spring and summer also fills that out a little bit more. So that could be particularly helpful. In terms of the videos themselves, the video frequency, I know that crafting takes a little bit longer, but what would probably work out nicely for you is since you might be doing things seasonally, I'm not going to say that you have to do weekly videos, but if you could do 12 videos per season at least, then that might be a good approach to this. Um, for example, 12 videos in spring, 12 videos in summer, 12 videos in fall, 12 videos in winter. If you can manage that cadence and plan your projects in advance to some degree, then that could help with not only schedules, but you could theme your videos. So if you theme your videos, that can be incredibly helpful to you in planning and in being consistent. Let's see. What's your most popular video or set of popular videos? So you do have some videos here that have a good amount of views on them. One of my suggestions and one of my thoughts here, and let me see what the oldest videos could look like. Here are some of my thoughts. I think that you could benefit from some entry level videos that are search friendly. almost all of your videos are projects, but they're also expressive projects. I do like this so you only have 10 minutes series, but you haven't done those in a while. My thought is that a lot of these videos are not something that I could find if I wanted to get into crafting homemade greeting cards. If I wanted to start making homemade greeting cards, there are very little videos that are how to here. The good news is almost everything here is evergreen. You're pointing out that the composition book one exploded after 3 years. That's great, and that can happen. So my thought though is there's not a lot here that is a video that I could search how to, and you should be the dominant source of learning this craft. But none of these videos are a how to, and I don't see a series playlist for absolute beginners. And so I think that that's something here. I don't mind that majority of your videos are expressive, but you've been doing that for hundreds of videos and doing individual projects for hundreds of videos. What about prioritizing a series for people who want to learn the craft the way that you learn the craft? You got into this because a dear friend gifted this to you, and then you started your process. And that's a great story, and it's wonderful to see a journey like that. But the thing is, I don't see things that specifically allow a beginner to start their journey. I think that when you do things like these, especially crafting videos, and as a original tutorial and channel, a lot of my best videos were things that helped beginners start their journey into photography, graphic design, video editing, or photo editing. So, and I get that back to basics is one, but back to basics implies that someone already knows something and they're getting back to the beginner stance. There's nothing for an absolute beginner. And again, there may not be enough. I think that a series of 6 videos that they don't have to be in order or be a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6. I don't think they have to be part 1 through 6, but I think 6 videos that are absolutely beginner, 100% beginner friendly and have how to in the title are appropriate for people. I also think making so yeah, you had this how to start making your own homemade cards with dies, but this is like one particular video. I think at minimum, you need a 6 video series for absolute beginners to start, and it shouldn't be back to basics. It's more about starting from zero. So they also should reflect the most searched things in your niche that have how to in them. And I think that that's a good starting place for onboarding new people to discover you. I think that that will be a growth engine for your channel because what your channel lacks, in my opinion, is it lacks um, cornerstone content or get what I call gateway content. How would people prioritize your channel and get to know their channel if they have no idea who you are? And more importantly, if they're completely new to your niche. So I think something like that. So someone for absolute beginners. I think some other projects could also be how-to projects, again, that feel very beginner friendly. So I think that those things could have some value here. And so I think you need more gateway content. And I think all of you should, the lesson that all of you could think about is, was the growth engine for my channel? For some of you, the growth engine of your channel does need to be search if you're in niches like how to, crafts, and DIY. Search is a backbone for those type of channels. I've had that kind of channel. So I know that search is the backbone and it's the growth engine for that channel. You do want thumbnails that can be um, strong on the YouTube homepage. Thumbnails may not be everyone's strength. I think that flat lay thumbnails can be good here. The other thing is there is not necessarily, if I go to the latest videos, I would say that I don't feel the thumbnail style is completely consistent. None of this is a knock on you or a roast, but consistent thumbnails help drive repeat viewers. The difference is some thumbnails they should be consistent, but not necessarily repetitive. I also think that for your purposes, looking at the actual flat lay here, the first frame in the preview of this Easter Bunny tutorial probably would have been a better thumbnail than the actual thumbnail. This thumbnail is not god awful by any means, but it's not really something that I think evokes the desire to see a crafting video, and it doesn't show the crafting taking place. I think it needs to be a show versus tell type scenario. The other thing is, I don't think Dapper Easter Buddies embellishment on the 11th, 2025 is a good title. I think it's actually not a great title, but I do think that if you had something about these beautiful DIY Easter bunnies, and I think if you literally showed the Easter bunny in your hand over your cutting board and what you're doing, I think that that first frame is a better thumbnail by itself than the actual thumbnail that you made for the video. And if you're watching the replay or if you're watching live in chat, I'd like your opinion on that. I would like your opinion on, isn't this first real image a better thumbnail than the actual thumbnail for the video? So I would say go more with that. I think that these flat lay realistic thumbnails are much more interesting. I think that they're much more dynamic, and I think that people will trust that video more if they see the actual process and crafting. So a flat lay of the process with your hands is probably a better thumbnail style than anything else, if I'm being honest. So I think that might be the correct approach. So I think when you're doing process videos, to be honest, which is what DIY videos are, sometimes a realistic thumbnail that shows one of the more interesting parts of the process is the answer. And then that means none of you have to be a graphic designer. You can just be very intentional and thoughtful about the most interesting frame in the process itself to demonstrate show rather than tell. So again, I feel like the flat lay of the videos themselves often make for a better thumbnail than these contrived from thumbnails. And it looks like the chat agrees with this. So I think that that's a huge immediate takeaway that can be better. Now, you may not be thinking of that because it hasn't always immediately resulted in views, but I think that that owes to the title. The titles are something that I think are not strong enough because the titles are purely expressive. They're not explaining that here is a DIY or how to. I think how to or DIY or both should be present in all of your titles because how to and DIY are trigger words, not just searchable keywords, but they're trigger words that tell an audience what the value of a video is and that they can extract value from it. So I think a video that maybe says how I made. If you don't want to say how to, then make it how I made because then that's relatable. If you really want these expressive titles, I would say how I made um these beautiful cards with made from the heart embellishments. And so how I made is more relatable to people if you don't feel confident in saying how to. So instead of how to make, made, how to make these cards, say how I made these cards. How I made these embossed embellishments. Um, how I made these St. Patrick's Day Z-fold cards with embellishments. Um, or with die cut, or with so on and so forth. So those are things I would look at. So again, I feel like the top-down process being demonstrated in the videos will go a long way for the thumbnails. And then I think that make putting DIY or how I made or tutorial or how to in a title conveys to someone that they can also do this too, that you did it, but I can do it too, and I should watch this video if I want to be able to create the same thing. So that's something that I think you could benefit from. So in terms of a title change, that's how I would approach these. In terms of a thumbnail change, that's how I would approach these. And then in terms of a content strategy, I feel like the one that I gave you, where making some gateway content, some foundational content that can be the growth engine and backbone of the channel, could yield more results. So that would be my advice for little crafty Nook. But what did you all think? Do you agree with me or do you disagree? Again, I think that one of the biggest changes is just that the actual flat lay production of the videos is really good and should just be the thumbnails. I don't think that this requires a graphic designer's approach to the thumbnails. I think this requires a crafter and a photographer's approach to it. And I think that the flat lays make more sense. But yeah, what do you think? If you're in the live chat, do you agree with me or disagree? If you're watching the replay, do you agree or disagree? Would you do something differently? Let me know in the comments. And there you go, little crafty Nook. That is your review. And so there we go. Yeah, no, thank you. And you've been a long time supporter. Happy to do it. And I think that this will definitely be an improvement to the channel. I also think that this makes sense if we understand that YouTube is doing more with pushing videos to connected live televisions. So we know that that's something YouTube is absolutely doing. The CEO of YouTube has made that very abundantly clear. Neil Mohan has not been shy about that. The other thing is, in general, we know that older audiences are watching YouTube on their television now instead of on their phone, the biggest screen possible. And I feel like the flat lay thumbnail design approach is something that would get a better response on a smart television these days in terms of a thumbnail style. So I think that showing the process there would also just be helpful to you and would drive significantly more potential for views. And Colette is giving you a wonderful compliment here. She says, "Hey, Roberto, totally agree with you. Her finished projects are gorgeous." Yeah. So again, I think this is one of those situations of show don't tell, or show more than you tell. And I think that the approach is there. And again, I think there's a desire for, especially with older audiences, for seeing crafts and seeing this sort of thing. I really do. And so I just feel like that will play out better if you have that on full display and it's the first impression that people have of the content. I feel like the click-through rate will be higher in general. I think more people on smart TVs, connected televisions, would be able to engage with the content if that's what they're seeing, especially as an older audience member. They can prioritize it. I also think the subtle change in the titles makes sense in terms of people understanding the video better. So those would be my thoughts and my recommendations there. Yep. So the next channel review that we have in the queue is Esperanza Marie. All right, so we're going to do your channel next here. So we have Esperanza Marie here. 1,000 subscribers. Congrats. Probably monetized by now. Hey, bestie, it's me, Esperanza. Welcome back to my channel. I I think you could probably lead with this. This is your go-to space for all things girly, glamorous, and glow up worthy. I would lead with this in your about section instead of the hi bestie part. I would go with this, and then the hi bestie thing can come afterward because this makes more sense in terms of what makes this valuable to the viewer. This is what they will care about more. So I would lead with what matters to them before anything else. Um, Mostly I'm good with your font here for your name. The thing is, these could just be cutouts. I would just use cutouts of you on the sides there, but do understand that they won't show up in mobile. They will show up in smart TVs and on desktop, but not mobile. Having them cut off in the way they do it here is jarring. I also think that these are a little blurry. I would probably look at getting sharper ones or possibly doing a new photo shoot that is meant to be used in this way. And then maybe I would do that. So that's something I would think about. Looks like you have a lifestyle channel. Looks like there's a little bit of variety here. I wouldn't necessarily, I wouldn't say necessarily vlogs. If you're making lifestyle content is the new vlogging. So I think that that could be repetitive. So I just think three things are also easy to remember. People remember things in threes. So as a theme, going with threes. So just saying beauty, lifestyle, and entrepreneurship is probably better. And it kind of just conveys a little bit more about what you're about. In general, I tend to discourage variety channels. However, a lifestyle channel, if you're making a female aspirational lifestyle channel, which it seems like you're doing, it is possible to pull off some variety within that context. So that's possible, and that's been done. And for the vlogs, what you could do is you could film with a vlog-like aesthetic. Um, so first point of major criticism would be there are some things working for you in the thumbnails and some things are not. Immediately, one of the rules that I have for thumbnails is making, if you're going to have text in them, the text must be easy to read, especially on smartphones. And so that is a big priority, which means if you use white text, you usually need a strong drop shadow behind it. The other thing is some fonts work better than others. And I do get that there's an aspect of you being a girly girl here, so you like decorative font. However, the best font you have going for you is this lowercase font in the words morning routine on this thumbnail on the left. That's actually the best font you have going for you. And it could just use a stronger drop shadow, maybe a 3x drop shadow would be enough. And that would be a stronger typeface for you for branding. The other thing is there are some elements here that are just cluttering the videos a bit too much and making the thumbnails hard to decipher. In this same vein of content, I actually have a friend whose videos and thumbnails you could reference a little bit in a similar vein to some degree. Um, I'm gonna bring up her YouTube channel for you. It's Glam Girl Gabby. So it's Gabby Soros. It's a friend of mine who I've worked with before. Glam Girl Gabby. And I've actually done an interview with her before. And so if you want to do this type of content, she's great to watch. She has 600,000 subscribers. So I'm going to show you Gabby's channel just to give you a sense of what your potential could look like. So for one thing, I think you should do a new banner to some degree and consider inspiration from Gabby on how a well done banner with a planned photo shoot and making sure you sharpen or even over sharpen the profile pic and the banner to work with YouTube, knowing that YouTube compresses the images a little bit. This is probably closer aesthetically even to what you could have. So if you take a look here, there you could keep that same font, but you could get closer to this. And I think it might be better with a photo that centers you more, so on and so forth. So this could give you some inspiration. The other thing that I want to have you take a look at is how simple, clean, and elegant Gabby's thumbnails are, and that even when she needs to use multiple things, there's some visual design and intent. And even when she used multiple things in a thumbnail, that it doesn't feel cluttered at all, and that actually still feels very, very clean. And that anytime she uses text, the text is very easy to read, and there is a consistent aesthetic that is happening here. So, well, one criticism I would have is I prefer people continue to use the same one or two fonts to really lock in their design brand and their brand Bible. The main thing is just making sure the fonts can be read, and that if you use white fonts in particular, that you have a good, strong drop shadow that makes them easy to read. So again, even when Gabby has multiple things, they're visually balanced and they don't feel cluttered. When we go to yours, I see what you could be trying to do, but again, it feels a little chaotic. It's giving a little bit of chaotic. And again, that's not to make you feel bad in any way. It's just showing that, hey, there's potential here, and you could get massive views compared to what you're getting now if the text, when you use text, is minimal and easy to read. And what we have is we have some guidelines that we use. Thank you, Doug, for posting those in the chat of the useful fonts that we have for thumbnails. Typically, we recommend the bold versions of Bibis New, Poppins, Oswald, Compacta, Open Sans, and Futura. Now, for you, with a strong female aesthetic, maybe the semi-bold or bold version in lowercase of Poppins would work for you. I feel that's close to what you have with the morning routine font in this one. And one other easy set of rules that helps sometimes is not having more than 3 words on a single line, and not using more than 2 to 3 lines of text because you want things to be scannable. Now, there are exceptions where maybe sometimes you could put them on left and right and you could have more things going on, but usually you want things to be able to be scanned and read at a glance, and that can be incredibly helpful for you. Um, so those are things that I would recommend here. I also think that locking in and choosing a color scheme aesthetic and kind of building a bit of a brand Bible for yourself would also be helpful. So that's something that I think you should consider. From what I can see from going and hovering the preview on some of your stuff, um, the videos are well lit. The videos have a good aesthetic background. Vlog-like aesthetics are fine. So again, I think you can film in the vlog style because that's what you like. I don't think you have to call things vlogs. And then from a strategy standpoint, I think you would benefit from some get ready with me videos, obviously, because that's worked in the niche. I also think there are some things that would work for you in terms of product reviews. And if you need a good approach to the product reviews, again, I think you can reference my friend Gabby and how she does an approach to some of those. I think that cheap versus expensive, and how to do specific looks are always going to win to some degree. Um, and I think there's some things you could take from this and learn. Haul videos work for beauty and lifestyle channels. Again, I've worked with a number of beauty and lifestyle channels before in the past. So even though I'm a dude, I can qualify this because I was also a photographer. You have to remember, I was a photographer. So I did do some things for people who were models, doing their portfolios, magazine covers. So I actually know more about this than you would guess or imagine because I had a lot of friends in hair and makeup. I shot fashion shows. I did video for those. I did drone footage for some of them as well, for different things for the runways. So there's a reason that I would know more about this than you might imagine. I think that a lot of what I will compliment you on is your sense of lighting and aesthetic. There is some things I can see from the production here that look good in terms of a relatable vlog-like aesthetic. But the big struggle bus for you, I think, is the thumbnails. And I also think to a degree that from a content strategy standpoint, that if you want to do beauty, lifestyle, and entrepreneurship, I think you need ways to frame those. And I think you need a certain storyline. So I think that there's clearly a glow up journey here, and that you had at some point looks like in the past that you had an acne journey. So the thing is, I would focus videos around that. The get ready with me life update, I think the title has to be more intriguing. Create curiosity loops in your titles. And again, consider some storyline to the vlog like angle of it. Um, so one thing with lifestyle channels, and I've worked with female lifestyle creators, is they build out a persona around the most interesting aspect of their life. Like one girl I worked with, her whole thing was being a Gen Z college student who got into her school of choice. So she was able to frame a lot of her content around a combination of productivity, student life, and story times about her college and her dating, but also people would watch her study with me videos. So she was able to do that successfully. So she was able to build out a couple of content pillars. So she was able to build out some study content, which overlap with the productivity stuff. The productivity stuff lets her talk about a little bit of managing her finances and adulting, so that she gets to do some of that and like relate to people around that. She does story times, which don't always include dating stories, but include college life, stress, family, and just things that are very relatable to Gen Z adults trying to live on their own for the first time. And then she was also able to occasionally work in some videos about decorating her dorm room. Um, and so people like that, it's very interesting aesthetic content, very girly girl. So she was able to combine those things and have overlap. I think that lifestyle channels, especially female lifestyle channels, can be the channels that get away with variety content, but I think context and framing is key around what is the lifestyle here? What are you aspiring to? So for her, she's reaching Gen Z women, she's reaching people who are students like her, and she promotes being like a good student. She promotes positivity, productivity, taking care of yourself, and trying to navigate and figure out your adult life. So, and again, in this particular case, I'm not going to reveal the client for multiple reasons, but you could see why that kind of thing would work. So I think you have to dive a bit more into what lifestyle you're actually promoting, what people can aspire to, and why that gives you kind of a unique value proposition, so to speak. So you have to really think about what your brand is and what it is you're promoting. So Esperanza, what you have this think soft life, luxury on a budget, cozy vibes, and leveling up inside out. I like this, but I want this represented in your titles in terms of the here is something for you to watch because you want to do these specific things. So, well, you're implying these things, but and there is a show don't tell version in the videos themselves, but I think the packaging is actually your thing that you have to overcome. So I think it's a packaging issue, and I think it's a framing issue with the titles that could be stronger. By the way, this is not bad by itself, and you are getting good views, in my opinion. So don't take everything I'm saying completely to heart as some criticism or think that you're doing anything wrong or that you're doing badly. I just think that's the difference between you getting 100 views on videos and getting 900 views on videos, or getting 100 views on videos and getting 5,000 views on videos. Because I actually think your videos are good enough to where, with the right packaging and thumbnails and titles, every video you have could probably get 1,000 to 5,000 views. That's what I believe. I think your content itself is good enough. I think it's a framing and packaging, and then I think with the right content pillars, you could ensure more consistency in the views per upload going in that direction. And so I think that there's a lot of potential here. I think it would take a lot more content, and I think it would take time, but you've only made 200 videos. Some of them are shorts, and you're already at 1,000 subscribers. And your shorts do really well. Your shorts are bangers. So, what I might suggest, and something you can think about, is I would consider how you might look at the potential of your channel, working backwards from thinking about being a 100,000 subscriber channel and getting your silver play button. Working backwards, what does that look like? In my mind, that might mean making roughly 800 videos. And so that might mean making 3 videos a week, 150 videos a year for the next 5 years. That gives you 750 more videos, so it's closer to 900 videos. And I think in 5 years, as weird as it sounds, I think in 5 years you could be a silver play button channel, but it's 5 years, 750 videos, 150 videos a year, 3 videos a week, and maybe the 3 videos a week is 1 video a week is beauty, 1 video a week is a lifestyle video that's about you living your life, and then another video is a more aspirational entrepreneurial video for girly girls who still are ambitious, and so that's your cadence. One beauty video, one lifestyle video, and one entrepreneur video a week as far as your long form. Then supplement that with shorts, maybe 2 times a week. Maybe it's the days that you don't upload that shorts. Maybe the main video content is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that's your release schedule. And it's like something like that, and that makes sense. So a beauty video, and by the way, all the videos can be shot in vlog-like format. They can be vlog-like. I think that vlogging is just the video style and aesthetic now. I don't think vlogging needs to be a genre. I think all content for this is now IRL content. It's now reality TV content. So, Esperanza, I have no problem with all of your content being shot like vlogs, but I don't think they should be packaged as vlogs. That's all I'm saying. So I don't think you package them as vlogs. I don't think you advertise them as vlogs. I think you just video them in vlog-like fashion, because vlogging just is what we would call reality TV without a film crew. It's just guerrilla filmmaking without a film crew. So I think that that's fine. Then I think that it's okay, a beauty video every week to help you with a beauty video a week to help girls with beauty and self-care and their aesthetics, a lifestyle video about living your best life and leveling up. Fantastic. And then an entrepreneurship video to help you live your best financial life and get your money up. And so I think Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I think that's a good cadence. I think it sets expectations. I think you could then put that in the banner. I think that the frame of a lot of your beauty videos are affordable. Beauty on a budget. Beauty on a budget. Hell, I think every video, maybe every beauty video, the secondary title at the end of everything is beauty on a budget. Beauty on a budget. You can be known for that phrase, and that can be the title at the end of every video. So easy glow and affordable makeup tutorial, beauty on a budget. And then so everything is a double title, because the as far as the beauty on a budget videos. Or maybe if it's not that, then there's a series, beauty on a budget series. Okay, so then that's included. And then there's those. Easy, glowy, and affordable makeup. It's like, I think that focus on tutorials that are popular looks, and those popular looks are either celebrity looks on a budget. So again, I think celebrity looks, beauty on a budget, where you like, okay, how to get this look like Kim Kardashian, how to get this look like Kendall Jenner, how to get this look like Beyonce, how to get this look like Lucy Liu, how to get this look like, whoever it is, whoever the big celebrities are, how to get this Sabrina Carpenter look, beauty on a budget. So something like that, because that makes sense, and that is leveraging familiarity bias by leveraging celebrity and social proof. So that would be very helpful for you. Again, I'm taking more time on this because we don't get as many beauty channels in the channel reviews. So this will be helpful to somebody else down the road. So yeah, I mean, these are the kind of things I would do. And then I think that that would help you out. I'm also giving some room here to not box you in. And then I definitely think you should keep posting YouTube Shorts. I think that a cadence of 2 or 3 of these a week. So if you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday for long form, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for short form, and you take Sundays off, definitely grows the channel. And I think if you did that, when I say 150 videos a year, I mean 150 in long form. So if you do 3 long form a week, 3 short form a week, I know that's probably asking a lot, but if you could pull that off in 5 years, I'm not shocked if you have a silver play button and 100,000 subscribers. So that's what I would work backwards from. And that's the best advice I think I can give you. So I know that one was a lot, but that's my review for Esperanza Marie. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm being a little overly ambitious here? I think she can do it. I think that the biggest problem here is packaging and brand design consistency and upload cadence. But I think the foundations are there for a really solid YouTube channel around beauty, lifestyle, and entrepreneurship. And I don't think I'm, gassering up to say that 5 years and almost 1,000 videos probably has the potential to get 100,000 subscribers. I just think that a lot of it is a packaging, consistency, cadence, and keep going scenario. I mean, if I'm being honest. So that's my thought here. Most people's biggest problem is they quit and they don't put enough time into finding themselves. They don't narrow in on what their audience values more and values most. Sometimes they don't have somebody to guide them and tell them things they're doing well and things that could be improved upon. I think the biggest one here is a lot of the thumbnails, but also some of the framing of the titles of the videos. Topic is great. Topic, fantastic. There's a big audience for this. It's a big room conversation. So it's the right topic. That's the right place, right time, and right people. But when you have the right place, right time, and right people, you have to present it in the best way possible in how you present yourself and then how you look and present in your packaging and aesthetics. So that's how you win. That's how you compete. That's how you stand out in a crowd. Standing out in a crowd is as much of what people can say about you, how they're introduced to you, how you present yourself. And so we talk about how you have to be valuable at a glance and you have to be attractive and interesting at a glance. And the thing is, I think there's room for that to happen here. I think small tweaks make a big difference. And I think Esperanza could do it. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section if you're watching the replay. Let me know in the chat if you're watching live. Boom. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of encouragement here for Esperanza in the chat. And again, this was a longer review, but again, we don't get a lot of female lifestyle and beauty channels coming into the reviews. So I think it was like just a good teachable moment here. And again, just a reminder of like the best fonts you can use. That for a lot of you makes a difference in readability. We've done some thumbnail workshops on the channel. We're still going to end up doing thumbnail workshops. I think that I might end up doing a thumbnail workshop series in the near future. And I think it'll be really good because like 1 of 10 is sponsoring us. Shout out to our good friends over at 1of10.com, by the way. Make sure you're checking them out. They are the best modern YouTube tool. They have a great title generator, thumbnail generator, ideation tools. You can bookmark inspiration. You can discover outliers in your niche for video ideas where you're struggling and everything like that. So make sure you check out 1of10.com. Use code Roberto. They give you 20% off. That's a lifetime discount. So make sure you're checking them out. 1of10.com. This code Roberto at checkout, so they know that I sent you. But yeah, they've been a great sponsor. One of the things they're working with me on is we are going to do a workshop series for Workshop Wednesday on strategy. That will probably precede the 6-week workshop that I'm doing starting next week on the business side of YouTube and content creation to help you guys understand incorporating your LLC, understanding the tax implications of being a YouTuber, hiring people, payroll, securing your account, getting an email address going for outreach to brand deals, negotiating your brand deals, all the things. So we have a 6-week workshop series that I'm going to be scheduling starting next Wednesday. And then after that series is complete, we're going to be doing a content strategy series sponsored by 1of10. But I also think what we'll do is we might find them or another sponsor for a comprehensive thumbnail workshop series where instead of doing one thumbnail workshop for like 2 hours on stream, we will end up doing multiple thumbnail workshops covering multiple thumbnail techniques, recreating the styles of different genres of thumbnails, where I will show you multiple thumbnails created in a specific style of either a big YouTuber or in the style of a type of channel. I cannot swear that I'll do this. I may even do in that series kind of how would I remake some of my subscribers' thumbnails. Um, in the future, there may be some series that specifically is me just remaking the thumbnail and graphics for a subscriber where I do 5 examples of me redoing their thumbnails and me redoing their channel banner and stuff like that. I mean, I there's a lot involved in that series. There will be a lot of planning for that series, and that series must have a sponsor, but that's something I've been looking into in the future because the goal is for future workshop series and things like that is getting a sponsor for these workshops, making it make sense to do it, and then having them stay live on the channel so that people can benefit from them and learn more practical ways to approach YouTube. And the thing is, I think it makes sense that if a sponsor pays me directly, it makes sense for me to use my skills as a graphic designer to redo the graphics, thumbnails, and branding for an entire YouTube channel and to work with that YouTuber. It's a package or something that I should sell. But the way we can cover it is if a sponsor pays for those YouTubers. I think that that would be a different series than my thumbnail series. So we're going to have to find a sponsor for the thumbnail series, and we're going to have to do a sponsor for the channel rebrand series, and then pick different channels that have completely different niches for the channel rebrand series, get people to sign some paperwork and give me permission, and get people to take the photos that I would need and get them to me for the channel rebrand series, where I will do an overhaul of what someone's YouTube channel looks like. So I think that'll be super interesting to put together. I really do, because I think it will be one of the only things that exist like it publicly in YouTube. And I think that seeing is believing, and doing a before and after on somebody's channel in that way, I think will just kind of make it abundantly clear to people how important the packaging, branding, and aesthetic really is. So I just think that that's going to be a game changer for people, and it's going to open people's eyes up. And yeah, I just think that that's going to be like. And the thing is, if I ever did a sequel to it, because I take some pride in my abilities as a graphic designer and such, a sequel to that would be interesting to collaborate with thumbnail artists in the YouTube community, and I would not mind driving more business for them and still partnering with a sponsor, by the way, and having the sponsor pay me and also cover the commission of those YouTube thumbnail artists and designers. But that would be more of a part 2 thing. We'll start with me because I can control everything and know how the series goes, and I'll know what to make better for next time. And then a second part for that series is we'll get a sponsor. Oh, maybe Fiverr will sponsor it. And we'll get a sponsor, and they will help me pay the full cost of commissioning a handful of YouTube artists and designers that can be reputable and that people could hire for themselves. And we'll do a whole makeover. We'll do a channel rescue. Yeah, we'll do a channel rescue, and we'll rebrand their channels. And so I think that that'd just be an interesting series for people to watch. I think it'll be a great case study. Um, and so just the taste of things to come. And then it'll also explain to you guys why we're going to partner with certain sponsors and what you're going to get out of it. And to any potential sponsors watching now, you know what we're about, and you know how you can showcase your value to the community. So You know, I just think that's going to be a tremendous opportunity. But we got some more channel reviews coming up. We've got the Salon Guy. Hey, bro, trying new sketch type videos, but every time I experiment, it flops. I feel trapped because viewers only want to see the same content over and over. I'd love your review on the sketch stuff. Okay. Um, let's see. There is a limit to some of it, so I can't watch it on YouTube with sound for copyright reasons and stuff like that. And Salon Guy, you've been a long time, supporter. I've talked to you a bit, and I know what you're going through because you're a much larger legacy channel. You're a legacy 1 million subscribed channel, and you've been very vulnerable here with us before. So something I'm gonna do for you, Salon Guy, is before I go to VidCon or right after I go to VidCon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record something for you offline where I give you all of my candid thoughts and where I actually go through one or two of your videos for at least a few minutes. And then I will Google Drive it to you and send you that. Just because, again, I know what you're going through as a legacy channel. I know sometimes YouTube doesn't always feel like it has you're back there with you being a million subscribed OG channel. So, that's something I don't mind doing for you. Again, it's normally a thing that I charge people for, but you've been so generous with a lot of your super chats to the channel, not just recently, but over the years. And you've been a big, long time supporter. You've been supporting me over on X. So I feel like for you that's a thing that I can do where I can definitely be a little generous with my time there. So I don't mind taking 15, 20 minutes on a weekend to do that for you. So we got Cryptids and Crafts. I started my channel, Cryptids and Crafts 5/28. I'm uploading shorts daily, and we'll start doing long form videos this weekend. It's focused on draw with me content, but now I'm going to add crafting and DIY videos. How can I grow fast? Again, most growth starts with a combination of things. So I want to use a little bit of this as a teachable moment. Um, so if someone was asking, Roberto, how would I grow a YouTube channel fast? Well, let's think about this just from a practical standpoint. In general, 1% of viewers on long form translates to subscribers for your channel. It's what I call the 1% rule. You can watch my video on YouTube strategy. I talk about the 1% rule. So the 1% rule is very real. When we talk about growing fast, 10,000 subscribers is probably the mark we should be thinking about, not 100,000 subscribers. Because we have the data now and we know that 97% of YouTube channels never, ever, ever, ever get to 10,000 subscribers. So if we can just get to 10,000 subscribers, we actually are successful at YouTube. And obviously at 10,000, we're monetized. So that should be the main focus of initial YouTube success beyond being consistent, in my opinion. 100,000 views gets you your first 1,000 subscribers if those are long form views, typically. So it's your first 1 million views on YouTube that you would want to get to 10,000 subscribers. If you want to get to 10,000 subscribers fast, I'm going to give you what my recommendation is. You have to keep in mind, I got my first 10,000 subscribers in 11 months of taking YouTube seriously. It was 11 months of taking YouTube seriously, and that's what got me my first 10,000 subscribers. Now, this won't work for everybody every single time. However, what works in general for me and for videos that are more how-to videos. So this includes how-to, DIY projects, crafting projects, software tutorials, tech tutorials, product reviews. This is the niche that this strategy applies to. So for cryptids and crafts, this is where the advice, because we are going to do our channel review, but I want to use this as a teachable moment for advice. So you're getting a little bit of lecture here. So if I wanted to get to 10,000 subscribers fast, one of the things is I need to benefit from compound interest, not viral content. So I need compound interest, which means every video I upload must be an evergreen video that can keep growing my channel for as long as possible. So that's number one. Number two is if I want to increase the subscriber growth and frequency, I need to make videos in series and playlist so that I have a better chance of every single video compounding and benefiting the other videos and creating repeat viewers. Because sometimes it takes more than one video on a single subject for people to subscribe and commit or to discover your videos. So my strategy would actually be to make a playlist of related videos, but those playlists contain multiple mini series that are all kind of related and similar, or at least a similar viewer would absolutely watch those things. So I would probably, my strategy would be, excuse me, I would be planning 3 mini series that are 5 episodes, but not episodes where you have to watch them in order. They're just 5 videos that I know are related, that everybody could watch, that are related to each other. And that mini series would exist in a larger playlist where all 15 videos can live in that playlist. And then I would probably make multiples of those. And all of these videos will be searchable. All these playlists will be searchable. All these series will be searchable because every mini series of 5 videos is a playlist, but they will all have a theme to where the 3 different 5-episode series all still fit an overarching theme so that those 15 videos can also live in a playlist together. So I'd be making these multiple playlists and I'd be using this interconnected strategy. All of these videos will be search friendly, and I will make the videos and the titles in a way where the videos can rank in search for 10 or more different phrases you could use to search for the same thing. So I'd be hyper intentional about the searches. I'm going to give you an example of this. If my overarching theme is video editing and production in Premiere Pro is my overarching theme, and that in the sub theme there is, okay, I want to make advanced video editing tutorials and production tutorials. So my first mini series there might be green screen. So if I'm going to make a 5-episode video on green screen, the way that I might do it, if my idea here is that this is all going to still use the same software to attract the same people, I would do things like I did my easiest way, fastest way to green screen in Adobe Premiere Pro. And that was a video where I taught you that in under 2 minutes. Then I would make a complete beginner's guide to green screen video, step by step. And that would probably be a 25-minute video because then I'm offering depth. So the first video offered brevity. This next video offers depth and completion. The next video for this is how to properly light your green screen and edit green screen videos. So now I'm going to incorporate a 2-part tutorial where in that one tutorial, it's focusing on lighting the green screen and then showing how lighting it affects the editing. That, okay, this is a bad green screen edit because the lighting is bad. Here's a good green screen edit because the lighting is good, and how that made all the difference. And if you want a complete step-by-step on editing an advanced green screen video, watch my complete step-by-step guide. So now I have a handoff video from the lighting video. I have a handoff to the complete guide, and or if you want to know how to green screen really fast, go watch this video where I teach you how to green screen in Premiere Pro in under 2 minutes if you think you know what you're doing. So now anyone who the 2-minute video just didn't have enough details for has an incentive to watch the 25-minute video. Anyone who watches a 25-minute video still might want to watch more of the details around the lighting. And when they are trying to remember just how to do something really quick, they can still watch the 2-minute video. So there's a reciprocal loop happening here. So that's one part of it. And so then I make a video on 5 mistakes to avoid when editing and filming green screen video. And then that's like covering the, okay, if you're not getting the results you think you should be getting, here is literally what you're doing wrong. So it's now an inversed video of this. So here's how that would work. So again, you see how I'm filling out this series. And then maybe the final video in this series is now just something where I package it up and say the perfect green screen tutorial for beginners. And what I do is I try to make it a middle of the road video. So the first video was under 2 minutes. The longest video was 25 minutes. Maybe it's something that's right in the middle there for people. And it just focuses on making this a 5-step process. So it's now a 5-step process delivered in under 10 minutes. And so it's right there. So it's like, okay, I got it. So I have a complete guide that's really long. It's 25 minutes. I have something that's quick as hell. It's under 2 minutes. Now I have something that breaks this down to 5 steps I can remember. Okay, cool. Oh, here's something that focuses specifically on lighting. Lighting, my kryptonite, my only weakness. And then, oh, here's something that gives me the mistakes that I need to avoid. If my biggest problem is I think I know what I'm doing, but clearly I want to avoid these things to just get them off the table and make sure I'm not screwing up. So like that's how I would compose now this series. That series can now live in a playlist of its own, and it can live in a broader playlist where, okay, green screen was the big advanced technique, one of the big advanced techniques people are fumbling. The next one, maybe it's going to be multicam, and now I can kind of repeat this formula with how to film with multiple cameras, how to edit multicam, how to do it as fast as possible, how to do it step by step, 5-step process for it, and mistakes that you're making. And boom, now I have that. And so then I do another one, and then maybe it's audio editing, and that's another big one. And so then all of a sudden I have a 15 video playlist on advanced video editing techniques in Premiere Pro. And it's broken into now 3 sub playlists that I also have that are all marketable, that are a series that focuses on a specific thing. Green screen is one playlist of 5 videos. Multicam editing is one playlist of 5 minutes. Audio editing is one playlist of 5 videos. The combined thing is 15. And now I've built a massive growth engine out of these first 15 videos. And again, my goal here is to get to 10,000 subscribers. I'm going to do like 100 videos, but I'm going to be this ridiculously intentional about it. So now I'm going to create more series like this. So I'm going to do like 6 or 7 of these, and it's going to build out my whole bloody strategy that builds out the backbone for my channel. So now I have a growth engine of 100 videos that are intentional. I have binge-worthy content built in. I don't have to guess what my videos are because I have structures and formats for my titles, for my series. So my answer is to be intentional with your content strategy. We'll talk about this in my strategy workshop in a couple of weeks after we do the business of YouTube workshop. But the goal here is strategy. And so if you're making intentional videos, you can grow to 10,000 subscribers because there's a reason for people to come back. There are overarching themes in your videos. We talk about title, topic, thumbnail, timing, but here's another T for you: themes. Themes and having bingeable content so that people can find videos and then have immediately related videos from you that are sticky enough, because it might take 3, 4, 5 videos to get them to commit to you. And if those are themes also have a larger overarching theme, then out of a 15 video sprint, they could watch enough videos to ensure you have the stickiness and binge worthiness to commit to watching your content and coming back for more and being recommended your content if they're watching similar videos. You now have more videos that can be related videos that can be indexed by your channel, by other channels, or things that they would search for. If you're targeting all these video titles to be evergreen and search friendly, and you make 15 videos and they all are targeting to where there's like 10 search phrases that they rank for, you have 100 paths to finding these particular 15 videos. You have 150 paths to you for these first 15 videos. When you repeat this process and you're 100 to 150 videos deep in just 1 year, you've now created a thing where there are over 1,000 direct pathways to finding your content. So when it's 1,000 direct pathways to finding your content for an intentional viewer who only cares about those specific things, you've created a scenario where getting to 1 million views and 10,000 subscribers is not that difficult. Because now you have this baseline where each of these videos just needs 100 people to value them enough and commit to them to want to subscribe to you. And so you've created a scenario where that's completely reasonable and possible to happen. You've also created a scenario where, since all these videos are evergreen, every single day they have an opportunity to draw people in. So now you've created a scenario where your channel is unavoidable for these particular people that are interested in it, and the value is also undeniable up front. The key to this is making sure that the titles are winning on the search value in the way that I've described, to where you're not just targeting one phrase, but your ability to be that where there are multiple roads to this video per everything. So again, every video could theoretically rank in the top 10 for 10 different ways to phrase the question. So that's how we're going to approach it. And that's how we're going to prioritize the topic of the video. And the thumbnail is going to be, we're going to research the best 5, 10 performing thumbnails for this idea and try to outdo them, but also look worthy to be among them. We're not going to half-ass the thumbnails. We're not going to just throw it together. It's not going to be an afterthought. And in general, these videos are not afterthoughts. These videos aren't done on whims. These videos aren't done because, oh, I think this would be cool or interesting. It's being very intentional, very focused. And again, that's why I say sometimes my strategies, they do work, but I can tell you they do suck the fun out of YouTube sometimes, because I'm being hell of intentional. And it's not about, oh, I think this is cool, let's make it. This is why we're making it. We're doing it for a reason. So that's my 10,000 subscribers fast strategy. Your mileage may vary, but that is the specific framing and specific formula and specific technique for channels in the category that you're in: DIY, how-to, tutorials, crafting. That is the strategy that I lay out for channels like that, because they can take advantage of search. They can win on search. They can do this. And again, my channel did that in 11 months when I was focusing on it, because again, I was Adobe tutorials for the most part and camera reviews, and I was very intentional about it. Budget camera reviews. So I was budget gear for video and photography. So again, I was super, super locked in when I started doing that. And that's why it made sense. Because remember, I didn't grow from being a YouTube help channel. I grew from being a tutorial channel, and like only 1/3 of my content is YouTube growth channel stuff anyway. It was primarily photography, design, video. It was the things you need to be a full-time freelancer, because that's what I was doing. I was a full-time freelancer, and that was the content that I made for a very, very long time, and that's actually what grew me. The online business content grew me after that too, and that was like my most performing videos of all time were videos about making money, believe it or not. But it should be, because it's a broader audience. And the software stuff too, because the software companies have millions of paying users. So if I pick a software that has millions of paying users, it's a locked in niche. And so there's guaranteed views there. There's guaranteed views. So that was my strategy. So I was picking things where I knew there were long-term guaranteed views, because people were stuck in the software ecosystem that they were paying for, largely tied to their job and their career. So there was a captive audience. So again, so that's my thesis on growing fast, is to at least 10,000 subscribers or more. My thesis on that is 150 videos a year, and it's this lock-in strategy, and it's this theming and mini-series strategy, and it works over and over and over again. In the early time in my channel, I abused the hell out of this strategy, and it worked. It's also why when I did go to daily, I was able to scale the channel to 10,000 subscribers a month during the 3 years that I went daily, and almost lost my mind, because you shouldn't do it without a doctor's note. So daily content, not healthy and not recommended, but I did daily content for almost like 3 years. And I was growing by 10,000 subscribers a month when I did that. Again, I think that takes it too far. So for most people, not going to recommend. Works. It works. I just don't think it's healthy. So that's the caveat there. The caveat. It works, don't think it's healthy. Yeah. We also have another channel review in the queue. We have Model on Screen. Thank you for the 49.99 super chat. But next up, we have Salon Guy. So we're going to get through the queue here. So let's look at Salon Guy's new content. Again, I know that the ramble lecture may have been a lot for some people, but again, I just think that it was super important. And I think that it's really helpful for people who actually want to know what's the strategy component of growing faster. So I think that's the thing. Oh, that's my Georgia emissions for my car. My car did, of course, pass inspection. Let's see. So we got Salon Guy, friend of the channel, Monday through Friday videos, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1.15 million subscribers, OG YouTuber. So you're doing this new sketch series. I think that this sketch series could do better on Facebook and Instagram than it's doing on YouTube, because I think that you were right about people's expectations. I think these videos, "Stop doing this," are actually a good theme for you. I think that I have an idea for you, Salon Guy, because clearly, if you do some things that are different and catch attention, the difference in views are a 10x difference in views, and I think it can be higher. I do know you want me to comment on the sketch stuff, and I will. But like I said, my main thing is I think that this plays out better on Facebook and Instagram than it does on YouTube. But I know that you really, really want the YouTube channel to go back to its glory days. Here's a thought I have. Titles make all the difference in the world. This one is more what not to do than what to do. What if you at least do a series focusing on people's mistakes and what they're doing wrong? I don't think a lot of the people in your niche are doing videos on what people are doing wrong or things that are messing up their hair or damaging their hair. And there is a such thing called negativity bias. We believe negativity before we believe positivity, unfortunately, because as human beings, we're screwed up that way. We are screwed up that way. Therefore, what I don't see from people is videos explaining to them what is destroying their hair so much, except for like Glam Girl Gabby, she did. But like, what is destroying your hair? What is damaging your hair? Stop doing this. This is destroying your hair. If you're doing, stop doing this if you want your hair to be healthy. The blah blah blah. So I think if you could leverage at least a series and do an experimental series, if you do an experimental series where every title technically is a negative title, but it's meant to help you and it's meant to save your hair, you could attract new life and new blood into the channel, I think, by going there and helping people. And they'll say, "Oh, thank God. I was wondering why my hair is turning out this way. Oh my God, this was ruining me." Or, "Oh my God, my stylist destroyed my hair because they were doing this thing. I need to tell them to cut it out." I think that that could inject some new life here, because this is a massive difference in views than what you've been getting. And it's like a 10x difference. And it's just this one little thing, and that's in 4 days. It's a 10x difference. I would lean into this and say, "You know what? Let's do more of that." And again, there may not be people willing to solve for that or address that problem, and it is a problem. If there are things people should stop doing, they should know that. And maybe that can grab much more attention than the rest of this, and I think that that could be important. Now, you did want some feedback on this concept of, and again, I can't play the audio because again, I want to avoid any chance of copyright for the benefit of the videos. And we're going to go ahead and let that ad play in the background, and then we can hopefully skip over it. I don't even know. Oh yeah, that's right. That account is not tied to my regular account. That's why it's not my YouTube Premium. I forgot that that's the case. Um, okay, so common haircut frustrations, and then this is a illustrated series. Again, I think that the problem is a misalignment of expectations on the channel when it comes to this. Therefore, I think that's your biggest problem. I don't think the quality of this is bad. I don't think the concept is bad, but I don't think it fits the channel. I think it's too jarring of a difference from what you do in general. And again, I know you're trying to throw everything you can at just getting the channel back into a healthy place. But I feel like this is stronger for Facebook and Instagram than it ever could be for YouTube. So I don't think that's the move here. What I do believe will do better is this series for things people should stop doing. Now, stop doing this when styling your hair is more generic. It's a good start. I would start leaning into maybe specific types of hair. I think I would lean into even stronger implications of negativity bias. And um here is something else to think about because this has been successful for Gabby. You might be able to do this for things with men's hair if you want with men's hair. Depends on what the split on the audience is, male to female. But there is something to, I think, you should consider doing stuff that explains thin hair, coarse hair, curly hair, straight hair. Um, and I think that you know, frizzy hair. I think that leaning into the specificity, the stop doing this. Look at this video. If your bob hair, if is your bob haircut looking flat, here's what you're doing wrong. So I think the doing wrong, negativity bias, damaged hair, um, how stop doing these things wrong. You're doing this thing wrong. I think that leveraging negativity bias and also leveraging specificity of hair types, frizzy, smooth, fine, coarse, thin, wildly practical. And so I would take some inspiration from what Gabby Soros is doing, but then apply this and apply things like hair loss, things people are very sensitive to, leverage some potential negativity bias, anxiety. Don't abuse it, but lean into it and offer relief and offer ways to improve the situation. I think if you do that, that you're going to find new life injected into the channel, and I think you're going to find people very receptive and appreciative of that. And so that's my current thought for you, Salon Guy. But that's my review of the Salon Guy and stuff that I think is going on with the channel. Again, he's a legacy YouTuber. So what happened is he had some viral videos and hits and was the strongest person in his niche. He helped grow his niche, but over the years, other people have aped the product. There are a lot of copycat channels. There are people that are younger, more cringy, and so a lot of the attention can be diverted. YouTube also, in general, legacy channels don't get the support you would think they do if they don't continue to just be viral channels. So that's why I know is going on and has been happening with him for quite a while. There is still the opportunity to be successful. It's just a matter of taking a different approach. Formats can go in and out of style at any given time. And then also, I think that the truth is that also some of the content was cannibalized by TikTok absorbing what the audience itself would have been on YouTube. So there's a lot going on there, but my belief is that by leveraging negativity, bias, and some of the things that can help with preventing people from damaging their hair, and also leaning into the specificity of different hair texture, that it could inject new life into the channel and attract people to it at a glance that see themselves identified and see their problem identified in the video. If you can't lean into the desire of what people want, lean into what they have anxiety around avoiding. So if you can't lean into desire, lead into avoidance is what my thought would be here. And again, it's not about abusing the viewer, but it's about acknowledging a pain that exists and acknowledging that they are not imagining these things are happening to them, but that they have a problem that can be addressed. One of the reasons I know this works is because it worked with me with wanting to negativity bias convinced me to improve aspects of my health, my diet, and my skincare routine. So I know for a fact that it works, and I know that it can work in this genre because in anything that's related to personal care, appearance, and grooming, I know that negativity bias works. It works on me. So when you frame the thing I'm trying to avoid, I might respond to that more quickly than the thing I think I'm trying to get, or maybe I don't know what I'm trying to get, but I do know what I'm trying to avoid. So I think that that works. But what do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree with me on this framing and that this approach could be useful? Let me know in the comment section what you think if you're watching the replay. Let me know in the chat if you happen to be watching live. So boom, there you go, Salon Guy. That's my thought. Again, little bit of commentary on your sketch stuff. I think it's just not meeting expectations. And I think it just doesn't fit with the channel as a whole, but I do think it works more for Facebook. But my thought is that you could lean more into the avoidance aspect of what people don't want to happen versus trying to appeal to what they do want to happen if that's not working right now. Yeah. In general, negative videos perform better. Yeah, I think negative titles and thumbnails. But here's my trick. If you make a negative title and thumbnail, I want a positive tone in the video because then if you acknowledge anxiety, provide relief. Don't amp up people's anxiety. Acknowledge their anxiety and trigger it in the title and the thumbnail because now it's doing mirroring and now they know and they feel seen and heard. But then offer relief and a positive tone and comfort in the video and attempt to address the problem. So I would say acknowledge the problem, address the problem, and then give actionable advice that solves the problem. So that would be my approach. The storytelling frame, by the way, you could also leverage storytelling, whether you're a salon guy or anyone else, leverage storytelling. Storytelling for helpful content that's not entertainment is here's the problem, and we're going to acknowledge the problem. We're going to provide you with the process for attacking the problem. We're going to show you the payoff that you could have if only your problem were solved. So problem, process, payoff is the flywheel for storytelling. So storytelling framework or storytelling flywheel for education type content is problem, process, and payoff. So it's a virtuous cycle. Here's the problem I have. Okay, let's go through a process of addressing your problem. We've acknowledged your problem is real and it exists. Let's address your problem and show the process to dealing with it. Now that we've taken some action, let's see what the payoff would be if the problem is actually solved by taking action, the correct action. So boom, there you go. Yep, people focus on the negative. So again, that's also again a redirection. If they're going to focus on the negative, we have to meet them where they are. We have to meet them where they are, and we can take them to a positive place. The thing is, if you're always throwing and leading with positivity, a negative person can reject or dismiss that as you just don't get it. You don't see my problem. You don't see my pain. You don't acknowledge that this thing is real. So they can feel dismissed by positive framing. By using negative framing and negativity bias, we can meet people where they are and acknowledge their problem. That's the first step to building trust and rapport is acknowledging that the problem is real, acknowledging that the problem exists, acknowledge that the problem exists as they've stated it. Then You have permission to address the problem and provide a process. And then you can inject positivity, hope, and a path to relief by showing and demonstrating what the payoff is and the transformation that happens in a before and after. And that's how value creation exists in a show rather than tell through education and how-to content. So that's the correct storytelling framework for how-to content. And I don't think it's a matter of like um edutainment or infotainment. I just think that um it's cathartic. It's cathartic to see a problem solved. But that catharsis starts if the problem is acknowledged to be real. So if the problem is acknowledged to be real, then the catharsis will also be real when the relief is provided. So yeah. So next is cryptids and crafts. So we have cryptids and crafts, DIY, lifestyle, and travel. Okay, so this might be a little much on the variety, but maybe that's where you start out with and you get those things kind of like going, get those things that you're passionate about off the table, and then you're able to lock in on whatever out of those things people respond to. Because again, I think that DIY and lifestyle works. I think travel and lifestyle works. I think throwing it all together could be a bit much, but let's see what you got going. So you have the shorts, and this is a good start. And I think you might primarily be doing shorts right now. So again, it's possible that this might work if you're doing a shorts channel. You might be able to get away with the variety. So let's go backwards from what your most popular shorts are. You also can choose the frames for your shorts, believe it or not, when you're uploading them. Um, ASMR kitty purring. Okay, so the thing people are responding to, it's like kitten loves God of War Ragnarok, adorable. Derpy hamster is derpy. So here's the thing. I don't see anything here where travel is present currently, nor do I think it's necessary to incorporate or beneficial to incorporate just because you like doing travel. So here's my thought. It's cryptids and crafts, right? I think DIY, lifestyle, and pet life can probably work because I think you can show off your derpy, fun, adorable animals. And I think that if you draw animals that people can respond to that. And I think that here's my thought. You can finish your 100 dreadful drawing series, but then I think the practical thing to do would be to move on to series where you can do multiple shorts a day and do 30 of 30 of individual themes and projects. So 30 of 30 challenges where you are teaching yourself to draw something or you're challenging yourself to draw something. Um, and since you're using the concept of cryptids, which could be, I think that there's an interesting theme there. Um, I would do a 30 of 30 series. Um, I would do a 30 of 30 series, drawing individual different cryptids, to be honest with you, as part of a theme for what you're doing. And then I could do 30 of 30 on just different creatures and maybe even pick an individual creature for the drawing challenges. And then also, I think you can interject random animal videos of your pets doing interesting things. Um and doing crafts of your pets. And then I also think not just for drawings, I think 30 of 30 challenges of with I think 30 of 30 challenges where you do crafts of 30 of 30 challenges beyond the drawings, where 30 of 30 on something like different craft challenges. It could be origami, 30 of 30 paper cranes. 30 of 30 paper cranes. I could see people getting super into that. Um so that could be different. You could do so many different craft challenges. You could do a series where you show across 30 videos, or give yourself 30 days to make a pop-up book. And the pop-up book could be about the different cryptids kind of living in their natural environment. So doing a 30, it's like, okay, so we're on day 30 of this challenge for me to make a pop-up book in 30 days. And I'm doing this wonderful pop-up, putting cryptids in their lovely environments and everything like that. So I'm almost finished with the pop-up for Nessie in the book and blah, blah, blah. And so boom, so you could do that. So you could, and then hey, I'm doing a 30 challenge and everything like that. So today I'm drawing Nessie. Like, hey, it's another 30 and 30 challenge. Today I'm drawing the Yeti. Hey, it's a 30-30 date challenge for me drawing cryptids. And so today I'm showing you the drawing that I'm doing of the Chupacabra. Hey, today it's Sasquatch. Um, hey, today it's the Jersey Devil. Um, hey, it's Lizard Man. I didn't know we were in Florida today. So you would just do the different cryptids. I actually know more about this subject than people would think I do, and everything like that. Hey, everybody, and everything like that. Today it's Mothman. Yay! So I think the drawing of the cryptids, like 30 of 30, doing sketches of cryptids, would do that. And then that's drawings. Then there's a 30 day where you're building a pop-up book about the different about a couple of different cryptids, and your pop-up book doesn't have to be 30 cryptids. It could be 5 or 10 of them, or the beginnings of your pop-up book, or you're just showing 30 days, 30 of 30 of the fact you're making the pop-up book. Then if you need to do another 30 of 30 series on it later, you could spin the block and saying, hey, we're adding to the pop-up book, we're doing this and everything like that. And then, hey guys, if you really like this cryptids pop-up book that I'm doing where they're in their natural environment, I'm going to do a limited run thing where you can support me on Kickstarter, and if we get funded, then I can do a couple of these for you. But it's a limited run series. I can only do so many of them, blah 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 blah. And so that would be your project. It's a pop-up book of cryptids. So that's one of them. Um, there's gonna be another thing. Hey, 30 of 30. I'm making cryptid trading cards, and everything like that. So I'm working on that. And again, it doesn't have to be 30 cryptid trading cards. It's just 30 of 30. It's just showing you're working on them. And so I'd make this a series. I'd also repurpose all of these shorts in this series and this whole idea to TikTok and to Instagram and to Facebook Reels, and I would be monetizing all of them. And I think you can make this a brand. So that's why I would scrap the travel. I would scrap the travel. Actually, I have a better idea for this. Cryptids and crafts. I think DIY, lifestyle, and I think DIY, lifestyle, and art. I would say DIY, lifestyle, and art. And again, I think the cryptids and animals theme, and you can just be like, hey, I love animals and I love cryptids and I love art and crafting, and we're gonna put all those things together. I think you scrap the travel component. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think it's a better theme to lean into the fact that you can do stuff about all your adorable animals. And then here's another one: turning my pets into cryptids. And then so you do the sketches, it's turning my pets into cryptids. Then you do sculptures where you're like, I'm doing sculptures. I did this thing where I drew my pets and turned them into cryptids. Now today I'm going to do this project where I'm sculpting them and turning their cryptids into statues and bring them to life. And so boom, 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 boom. And so you're doing that. So again, I would be able to make these themes. I would do these themes and projects around these. So you have themes. And then here's another thing. By doing this, here's another one. Because you have now this art, you can make all this art yourself of cryptids and do these things. You can you can do cryptid facts shorts, and the shorts for the cryptid facts, instead of doing AI and instead of doing photos from the internet, you use all of your own artwork to you do the facts about the cryptids while showing off your own artwork and promoting your artwork and your crafts and your series. So you do that. And so that now allows you to also have a broader range audience for people who just think that cryptids are cool. And then they can care that, oh, wow, you talk about these cryptids, you do art about them. And now you're also doing cryptid inspired art around your pets. And then, oh, we see some videos of your pets. And then so it ties together much more strongly, and it makes the channel and the brand, it makes your brand stronger. It gets people emotionally invested in you. And so you can also, when you're doing the art and the voiceover, yes, you could talk about them. So it's education and art, and it's now infotainment, so to speak. And so I think that that can be incredibly powerful. So that's how I would do it. And now you won't run out of ideas. You probably won't run out of um, you know, cryptids in terms of facts. And there are a lot of ones that people, in theory anyway, may know a lot less about. Um, because again, I think the most famous ones are probably Nessie and probably Mothman and probably the Jersey Devil and the Chupacabra. Lesser known, probably though, are like, I mean, like, trying to remember the Dover Demon. Good example, Dover Demon, right? People, I remember being scared as hell about that one because of watching YouTube videos and everything like a bloody lunatic. So I think that there is that one, and that's one that's lesser known. So people do that. The Yeti's an easy one for me because again, it's part of other types of mythology, and I like Eastern stuff. So of course like the Yeti makes more sense, and the Yeti's been popularized in other media. There's even like a Marvel comic character that turns into a Yeti at some point. So there's that. Um so I think that this works for an yeah, the Dover Demon sounds like a Marvel character. So again, I do think that there's a lot of potential here. And so to my knowledge, there's at least 25 potential cryptids. And there may be some that are outside of American culture as well. That makes sense. So, again, I think between being able to do facts videos and then being able to do different projects and bring cryptids to life and make people really interested in them, and then showcasing that, and that the facts videos are using your own artwork, I think is really dope, and people could care about that. And it's like, and I have another one. It's like making comic book covers for my favorite cryptids. And so now you turn every cryptid into like a Marvel comic book character and make a comic book cover for them. And then people are, oh, wow, that's so cool. And it's like, and again, this also has an angle of leading into a potential print on demand store for you, of where people can, you can reproduce these. And you can reproduce these and make copies of them, and then people can buy the print on demand of them and stuff like that. You can do digital art with this. And again, so these are all things that make a little bit more sense for the brand, and then translate this into something stronger. And then if you, in theory, want a weird way to incorporate some quote unquote travel into this, you can go cryptid hunting in the places where each of these cryptids is rumored to live, if you wanted to, as a little side quest to get that in there. So that'd be a thing. And you said you want t-shirts. You'd love to have t-shirts with your art. I think that the way and the path to that is these drawings and asking people which ones they'd want t-shirts of, and then with the shorts directly can link to your own YouTube merch store and stuff like that once you hit monetization. So you'd be able to directly have that. But again, you don't have to wait to monetization. It's just that the linking out from shorts doesn't work as easily without that in place right away. I have a workaround for it. You make a long form video showcasing the t-shirts, and you can link from the short form to the long form, and they can buy that from the long form video, links in the description if they want the t-shirts. So the long form can promote the t-shirts in that way, since you can link to descriptions in long form videos. Once you're monetized, you'll be able to directly do it through the merch shelf in YouTube for the shorts and the tagged product feature. So that will work. So those are my thoughts for cryptids and crafts, and how to um, narrow in the brand. And again, that's why I want to eliminate the travel element, lock in on the DIY lifestyle and art element, lock in on the cryptids themselves, turn all that into the art themes to draw people in, get them really excited about this, build a niche cult following about it, build a brand, and build this strong artsy indie brand around this, and then also sell physical and print on demand products around it. That would be my thoughts on this. But again, I'd love your feedback on this channel review, because this was a channel review but also a brand rescue in my mind. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Would you do something differently? Do you have other suggestions? Let me know in the comment section if you're watching the replay. Let me know in the chat if you're watching live. So there we go. Oh, you know what you could do for the new banner? Multiple cryptids in the new banner that could drive interest for the t-shirts. I think that that would be cool. I think people would be super like into that. It adds another layer and dimension to the crafting angle. Heck, for the holidays, cryptid Christmas cards. Cryptid Christmas cards for the holidays. If you start with cryptid Christmas cards in early November, there may be a plan in place where you could get them ready to where some people could get potentially get some for the holidays somehow in time. So again, that'd be something to think about. Merry Christmas from Mothman, you know? Yeah. Maybe that's a collab with Lil Crafty Nook. Yeah. So yeah, that one was super fun. I really enjoyed that one. People I know do struggle with like art channels and craft channels, and I know it's a much harder niche. But again, I think when you can lock in certain themes and there's something unique like this where it could attract people, and where I can come up with a really interesting or unique angle for it, especially with short form. Short form can also be faster on turning things around. So yeah. So I think there is an opportunity there. And yeah, I think I agree. Taking the travel part out and going harder on the art gives her more to leverage. I completely agree. See, I think that a lot of times as creatives, and I experienced this in my early days of my channel as well, we just get so tempted to throw everything that we enjoy at the wall of this is my channel, this is me, this is who I am, I'm expressing myself, let's go. I think that we sometimes miss the forest for the trees of what if we lock in on things that are interconnected and can serve each other, and then we're not going to get as bored. Because I think the overlap here, I created ways of overlaps of things she's really excited about and interested in that still serve each other and are interrelated and keep the audience locked in. And I think that that's the key here. And I think it can be challenging for creators to figure that out with an outside perspective. That's why I think channel reviews are a good idea. I think channel reviews are a good idea because you can see how here's how somebody who is interested in seeing you win and succeed would give you their opinion, and you can take what you want or leave it, but there's a benefit there. And if they can, like, I can find things you're excited about and then pull that out of you and say, we're doing addition by subtraction. By subtracting the travel as a potential distraction, we can focus in on this. I'm saying, oh, I like doing and incorporating things with my pets. Hey, if I help you with the idea of let me turn my pets into new cryptids, it still makes sense. It's on theme and it's a way to incorporate the pets in some clever way that isn't too distracting or too, this isn't what I signed up for. So again, it's a way to figure out how can I consolidate some of these interests. And if you really are like, ah, I missed that there's no travel in it, it's like, it's a once in a while thing of a special video of traveling to the place and going cryptid hunting of you know what, I got out of the studio and I'm in so and so and everything like that. I'm out here and I'm hunting the Dover demon. I'm going to see if I can get him to autograph my drawing of him. Like that's funny, that's cute, that's like a it's like, okay, Sasquatch, if you're out here and everything like that, I got a t-shirt for you and everything like that. I hope you're a fan of the merch. I think that that's kind of funny from a if you're gonna, like, if you want to incorporate, I think that's the only thing that makes sense. And I think that that's funny and cute and clever. If like, because again, I'm for nixing the travel, but if you're gonna have it, this is my angle on it. And I think it could just, in a way, just be a joke of like, I'm going to find these cryptids and I'm literally going to just go sell my merch. I'm going to like go to these cryptids and I'm going to get them to autograph my merch of them. And I think it's a fun joke. I think the funny plot line of the joke is um having a friend in a costume posing as a cryptid, kind of stalking you in the background, and like maybe the viewer doesn't understand what's happening and that it's not real. I think that that'd be funny. That's just my sense of humor of how I would approach these things, and it's a way for me to shill my merch in good humor. So if I was gonna sell and shill my merch in good humor, this would be my way of doing it. And so I think it's bits. I think it's very funny, and I think it's just tongue in cheek. And I think people would have a good time with it. So that's kind of my angle on that one. Because again, I really don't think you should really do incorporate travel vlog type content with this. I think it's stronger with the thing I suggested. But if you are like, but I travel and I do like, okay, here's my gimmick if you were gonna make it work. So yeah. So that is my take. Hopefully you found it super helpful and entertaining. Let's see. We got model on screen next in the queue. But we have a super chat question. Um, Sahil says, my friend has 144K across all their socials, makes fintech content. Any tips for brand deals? He gets around inbound deals, but I'm also doing outbound and struggle to connect. When should a short form content creator switch to long form? I mean, you can do long form whatever you want. I don't think it's a switch. I think it's you are adding something. I don't think you should switch off the audience you built on short form. I think it's about adding long form. I think it's about adding new value. And if you're doing fintech content, I would have to figure out, and I would say you need to figure out what the value proposition is. And if you want to do brand deals, again, this is something that like maybe your friends should do a one-on-one call with me and do a one-on-one coaching call with me, because this is more involved than a question in the chat merits. This is extremely deep. And so I think that one, everybody should do both inbound and outbound when it comes to brand deals. I think you should come up with what brands you actually want to work with instead of just whatever comes to you. So the outreach thing, I think there needs to be a real plan for outreach. If you want to build a plan for outreach, we could talk about it on a call. I have some materials in the YouTube starter kit you can buy, Doug. If you want a link to the YouTube starter kit in the chat, we can do that. So I think like working with me one-on-one makes sense for that to plan out a real strategy if you want to do brand deals. If it was at that size, it merits doing some coaching on that, because the goal would be the brand deals are what would make the money back anyway. And you'd want to lock in long-term brand deals. You'd want to look at UGC content. If you're doing short form, you want to definitely look at UGC content, user-generated content on the brand's platforms for social media. So you definitely would want to do that. The The thing that I would also say is on the fintech side, you should be looking at affiliate marketing opportunities if there's subscription models there to be leveraged. So that's something you could think about. It's possible that there's, if you're on the fintech side and you're that strong on that, a secondary YouTube channel that pose that acts as a podcast. A podcast in that space gives you a natural transition into long form that could also benefit short form. I just wouldn't put it on the same channel in this particular case because podcast brands often can and should stand alone and be their own YouTube channel because they can also have their own YouTube shorts from podcast. So I think building a podcast channel in the fintech space that leverages long form in-person content or as a solo podcast, but probably would go in person and go interview style or build a podcast studio and build that out. So I would go that route. Then also take that long form from the podcast, put it into short form as well and into clips and syndicate across multiple platforms. Those are things I would do. That opens up even more brand deal opportunities. That also opens up the opportunity to generate an email list, which foregoes even more opportunities and builds out brand, JV partnerships, so on and so forth. So again, more involved than a chat question. I really think that your friend Mikey is a coaching client candidate because again, it's a lot. This is definitely a 90-minute call because it's a lot. So that would be my thought. So let's see. Next up, we have model on screen. Again, thank you for the $49.99 super chat. Let's jump into it. So we have model on screen. First of all, kudos on the branding here. This is actually really strong. Love the theme. I love the space theme here. Very cool. New videos every week. So this is the first one where someone has actually put the schedule in the banner. So nice. Come nerd out with me. Let's watch all your favorite sci-fi, fantasy, and supernatural movies and TV shows. I love this. Very strong intro right off the bat. Great job. Good profile pic usage here. Solid or gradient colored background. Nice. Let's see. Initial homepage, very thin, but you also don't have that many videos. So again, not heavy criticism there. Really strong views for a smaller channel with less videos and subscribers. So again, not a lot of negative criticism here right off the bat. Your thumbnails currently are not bad. I want to be honest with you. Current thumbnails are not bad. The thing about it is, I get the instinct to use the font from the show, because it's recognizable, but you're using so much of the branding from the show that I would just move to potentially, and this is just me, if you're going to do it, I would still then leverage heavy drop shadows behind it, especially for something like Stargate, to make it more visible. I love the concept of your first time watching and you're leveraging that properly and perfectly. So very good there. For these reaction videos and the framing, I want you to study the React World YouTube channel and study the composition for the reaction videos. And I'm going to show you why here. So we're going to go React World. And I'm going to show you not react to the world. I'm looking for the React channel. Hang on. Isn't it just hang on. Let's just type in like something like teens react and we'll find it. Okay, so yeah. So like if we look at something like this, I know it might seem complicated, but I'm going to walk you through the technical aspect of what's happening here with the composition of the bloody hell. Ugh. This is what I get for having the part of the channel where or sorry, the account where I'm not um the account where I don't have my YouTube Premium logged in. So here's the thing. From an editing standpoint, this this gimmick actually does work. Now, again, I get exactly why you're just using the transparency part on the React and everything like that, but I'm gonna walk you through the technique here. So one, this kind of cropping and framing on back and forth versus full screen is actually really easy to do, especially even in the edit um in your video editing software. But the way you get around the things that you would need to worry about is one, you can put a filter that doesn't completely distort the image, but does enough for the scan line. So you could run a filter and you can crop the size and dimensions and still have the blurry background of the thing going behind it, especially in 4:3 or what have you. So that you can do that. And then also this back and forth between yourself, sometimes in full screen for your reactions, and then most of it being in split screen and interrupting yourself. And so that will help from a production standpoint to take this to a whole other level for you doing it. And again, not a complicated editing technique because you're already cropping yourself and you're already doing some picture in picture. So again, it's just a cleaner way to do it and to frame it. Now, in your case, they're doing on their self on the left. You could put yourself on the right, which also matches with your thumbnails. So you can do that. And again, you already are cutting back and forth between full frame for yourself and cropped. So this is just a more effective way to do something you're already doing. And a filter deals with the transparency thing. You could so you can use a color filter, and you could also use the pin and distort effect to where you can even tilt the picture in picture at an angle, which then by tilting it at an angle doesn't make it a one-to-one for the scan lines for the copyright side. So that is the technique I would use, which still also makes it, obvious and visible what it is for the viewer. But again, it avoids the issue of the copyright. And it's a very simple technique. You can learn it in a weekend in your video editor of choice. I assume you're using either Final Cut or Premiere Pro. You can tell me in the chat what video editor you're using, but that technique could work for you. Great job on your picks for fantasy and sci-fi. You have a lot of sci-fi here. Balance some of this out with fantasy. So you've got Stargate SG-1, which is great. Big fan of Stargate. In the future, probably Babylon 5 is going to be one for you. There's also some stuff that a lot of people remember fondly from the Sci-Fi Channel. So there's a lot of Sci-Fi Channel favorites. Yeah, it's hard to get past the copyright if I don't use the transparency. I think you can either use I have a trick for this. You can still use the transparency, but instead of using the transparency against your bedroom, use the transparency. It's DaVinci Resolve. Okay, perfect. So you can use the transparency, but instead of the transparency being against your bedroom, it can be against a solid color in the size and the framing, kind of like on the React World style thing. But I would just then have it be against another color, and then that could do it. So you could use the transparency, but then it's the transparency not against your bedroom's background, but against another solid color, and or also do picture in picture of the bigger version of it itself too, and how that would work. I may do an example of this on one of my other channels And again, what I'll probably do is I'll probably just do it on the account that's not linked to my main YouTube account to avoid any potential for a problem for my main channel. Um, and I'll make it an unlisted video just as an example of how to do this sort of thing. So, or actually, no, I don't have to take it that far because I know what I can do. I can do it on my other channel. I can do it on my other channel, and I can actually have it public. And what I'll react to is instead of reacting to a TV show, I'll react to a YouTuber that I know doesn't copyright strike and copyright claim, and I'll use it to just demonstrate the technique that I'm talking about in how you would execute this. But again, taking inspiration from Teens React is a way to do this. So again, you can make it transparent, but you can then make it transparent against a specific background color. So that will help you out from a production standpoint. I don't mind you shooting in your bedroom at all, by the way. But if you want a nice purple or pink background, you could also set up a backdrop. You can get like a $60 backdrop and get some seamless paper that's purple or pink and put it behind you for when you want to film these. And then you can always take it down when you're not filming. And then that could give you literally that whole React, Teens React flavor for this. So, um, you know, I think that that can work. Um, and you also did full frame. Yeah. And again, still got views. So I definitely see how that can work. But again, I think you can pull off the combination of using a filter and using a color filter that makes the color of the thing more pink or purple. And so yeah. So I think that'll work. For more movie reactions and stuff like that, I think you should also there's some fantasy films that would do well for you from a content strategy standpoint. I really like your channel and I really like this idea. I'm probably just gonna end up watching your stuff, to be honest with you. So there are some things that would probably work in terms of reacting to. And I don't know if you've seen some of these. Um from a fantasy standpoint, I think reacting to the Dark Crystal would probably be good. Um, I don't know if you've ever seen the Neverending Story. To do a first time watching the Neverending Story, people are super nostalgic about that one. So you could definitely do that, and people would be like, "Oh my god!" So there's that. You did a first time reaction to Alien. Maybe you should definitely do it to Predator and Predator 2, especially with the new movie coming out. So I think that that could definitely work. Um, you should do the whole Aliens franchise and the whole Predator franchise, to be honest. At least for the original Predator movie. Maybe also the early 2000 ones. So, definitely think that that could work. Hmm, what else here? Um, again, really leaning into movies from the 80s and that dark period with things like The Dark Crystal. What else was really popping back then? The Labyrinth was a big one from back then. Reaching into my Highlander. Highlander for sure would be yeah, that's a good one. So definitely would do Highlander. That was big time. For sci-fi, also potentially would argue RoboCop might be a good one for the first three RoboCop movies. What's going on with your shorts? Oh, Princess Bride. Princess Bride. Absolutely. Shorts are solid here too. You've got a great overall channel. You've got a great overall channel. This is the kind of thing that I would watch for sure. Another sci-fi movie from the era to review is probably consider something like Total Recall. So Total Recall. Um, I think this is a solid channel with a lot of potential. I think you've already started getting a great fan base. I think that again, this is the kind of thing that I would watch, to be honest with you. Um, and again, there are some things you can do to improve the thumbnails to some degree. I think a little bit of Photoshop enhancement and contrast enhancement to some of these can go a long way. But other than that, in general, I think a lot of what you're doing is fine here and it's working and people are loving it. I think that there are a few production hacks I can give you that will help you even withstanding the copyright thing. Like I said, a few production and editing hacks. Um, you can try the strategies I'm suggesting with an unlisted video sometime to just test it. And like not do a full video, but you could do a test with an unlisted video and make it a little shorter and see if it triggers the copyright or not. And so that could help you. So, I would look at that. But again, I think you're also gonna get a couple of fans and subscribers, honestly, off of even this review because we're all nerds here. We'll definitely watch. So, let's see. I think you should also do some quizzes and trivia here. Yep, The Others, Highlander, Pitch Black. I think doing polls constantly on here, but I think also doing trivia quizzes would be a good idea here. I think you definitely need to do all of the Star Trek movies. Something that could also work for you is I don't know how into cosplay you are or would be, but I think that literally if you started doing all of your watches in cosplay, people would get really into that. And it doesn't always have to be the cosplay of the thing that you are watching, but I do think people would get a kick out of it if you were doing all of your. Again, I know it's extra work, and I know that's a lot, especially for female content creators to get ready to be on screen. Oh, Last Unicorn's definitely a good one. To get ready to be on screen. However, I think if even slightly you put some of the effort into cosplay while doing it, it's immediately noticeable for people, and I do think that that could be totally on brand. So yeah, yeah, all the Star Trek movies for sure. Yep. Honestly, if I didn't end up in the type of content that I'm currently doing, this is probably the kind of thing that I would have wanted to do if I were going to do an entertainment channel. This would have been the kind of thing I would have done, to be honest with you. I would have either done this in this genre of sci-fi and fantasy or nerd culture, or I would have done this in the anime genre. And yeah, there was a time when I actually experimented with this on even my those videos are now unlisted, but that was actually some early YouTube content I experimented with. It went well enough to where I got a couple of videos with tens of thousands of views, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 views on it. Even though it was not the thing I was known for. So I know how to make this successful and I know how to make this work. Um, so yeah, definitely think that you've hit a very, very strong fan base here. You're getting some great recommendations in the live chat now with people saying, do the last Starfighter, do the last Unicorn. Again, I think Never Ending Story, part one and part two. We do not talk about part three and part four. Um, so I think definitely that for sure. I love this channel. I'm gonna end watching your videos. So yeah, but those are my thoughts for model on screen. Again, I think that the channel is great. I think that there are some superficial things that could improve the thumbnails, but it's already getting more views than subscribers. So I don't think the thumbnails are in jeopardy in any way, shape, or form. I think that I'm the kind of person that for this channel, there's easy hacks in editing and production that enhance it. Spending about $100 to get a backdrop and seamless Savage paper that is purple or pink and throw it up behind you every single time. Um, that's an easy production hack. If you do that, maybe you don't have to go as far as the cosplay stuff, but I definitely think that it wouldn't hurt in any way, shape, or form. Get a lot of potential repeat viewers on that one. But I think, boom, pink background there. I think instead of cutting your picture out of the frame of the video to do the thumbnails are great. I just think pose and do a shoot with lighting for your photos for them if you're not already, and then do the cutouts and do the reaction faces for that and just shoot a couple of those. So I think definitely do that. Um and so those are things I would look at doing. Your lighting in the video itself is good, but you could use a ring light potentially if you wanted to, and that could just add some more dimension. And another thought here is the editing, like I talked about with the way to frame it. There's a effective way to pull this off in terms of the layout for it. So I think there's a approach that could be leveraged there. But those are my thoughts on model on screen. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? You disagree with me? I think it's a great channel. I think it has a lot of potential. I think it's already doing extremely well. A weekly video cadence. It's in the thumbnail there. I think we gave her a couple of ideas for potential series and videos. So I think that's solid. I think the enhancements to the editing and production using Teens React as a reference guide, since they're the best in the business, I don't think they're hard to duplicate in some ways. I think their best value was that they were first. So I think those are things that can be taken advantage of. But what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Would you do anything differently? Let me know in the chat if you're watching live. Let me know in the comment section if you're watching the replay. So boom, there you go, model on screen. Thank you so much for the $49.99 super chat. Definitely want to give you some extra advice there. And again, I think what you're doing is great already. I just think there are minor cosmetic enhancements that take it to a whole nother level that make it harder to compete with you and show that you're bringing that big creator energy. So I think that you're doing great. Like I said, your channel is the kind of thing I watch in my spare time anyway. I just wasn't aware of you up to now, but it's the kind of thing I dig. And again, I think even just the these little extra things, and again, the cosplay thing may not be an every time thing, but you could definitely cater and get an audience off of it. So could have potential. And again, I think you already have a few fans right here in the chat. So great job. Great job. Oh, again, thank you. Ty's Hot Mess History, not asking for a review. Yes, thank you for trying to send the play button as one of my coaching clients. I'll get on it this weekend. I will hunt down the email and reply to you again to get you the info for that this weekend. Mods, don't let me forget. Nag me this weekend, mods, to make sure that I connect with Ty to because she's so gracious to get me a copy of her play button for the Hall of Fame here. So we're collecting copies of play buttons for my coaching clients that have gotten play buttons successful. In fact, actually, what you guys see in the background is actually a gold play button from one of my clients back before they shrunk the play buttons. He got me one of the big ones. So because I helped him get to 1 million subscribers. So, so I get to have a gold play button here because one of my clients was very gracious about that. So, yeah. Just so you guys can see it, and this is a legit YouTube gold play button. This is the big gold play button here. You guys have already seen that in the background there that I have my original play button from when they had the different design in 2016. They had a different design. 2017 or 18 they flipped over to the plaque designs, and you see that I have mine there, and then I have another one from another client over there. We have some more that are coming in, and we have this gold one. And now they changed the size. I have to figure out the different ways of displaying them in the future, because now the sizes won't all match because YouTube changed the design again. But it's common for YouTube to change the design. They changed the design in 2017 after I got mine in 2016, so that I upgraded to the new design, which I think is 2017 or 2018 design. And they'd had their original design for like, I think 5 years before they changed it. Then recently they changed it again. So it's not uncommon for YouTube to change the play button award designs or sizes as well. So very cool to have that. Like, very cool. Thank you to my wonderful clients. Uh, So I put that there with the books, so that's on display. And then YouTube created for us silver play button holders. We can order a second type of style. So it's not a replacement, but YouTube makes this really heavy and it's official. It's got my name on it and everything. So YouTube makes this official silver icon award that you can get to go with your silver play button plaque award. So they give you a physical icon. Now, if you get a gold play button now, there's a gold version of this as well, because they want us to have something comparable to the diamond play buttons. So they gave us that option. So I ordered one of this. This was expensive. You have to order this. This is like an extra $200. You can get copies of your YouTube letter and frame it. I have mine in my library. And I believe the one I have framed in my library is the one from Neil Mohan. I do have a letter still from Susan Wojcicki, the former CEO of YouTube, because sadly she's passed away. So I definitely still want to frame my letter from Susan, as well as my one from Neil. So it's terrible tragedy what happened to her and her family. So you know, trying to get away from sad things. But the cool thing is, again, YouTube did create this play button icon for your silver play button award. If you ever get to 100,000 subscribers as well, you can order a gold one if you ever get to gold status as well, but you do pay extra for that. You can order extra copies for yourself, your team, your coach. So anybody that you want order extra copies for, you can give an extra copy to one of your parents. If they ever doubted you succeeding, you can do that and be like, hey, so here's the proof that I succeeded. Here's your copy of my playbook. So like you can do that. Hopefully your family believes in you. And so yeah, mine does. And always has. So again, the very cool thing there. So like I said, this is the OG one. This is the OG one from back before they updated it. I think in 2017 or 2018. This is the OG play button. So again, ideally, I'd like to help more of you earn these YouTube awards that they give out for reaching the milestones. So, want to try to help make that happen for the far majority of you. Doug, thank you in the chat for getting the next channel for review for Legacy Church Center for their manager. We'll definitely queue them up for review. But yeah, that's those are the play buttons so that you guys kind of get a taste of that and what might be possible. I'm gonna adjust the angle of that one because I think the lighting was hitting it differently before. Actually, I also had that going on before. There we go. So there. And the light's a little bright. You get the idea. Also showcases the book a little bit. Appreciate that. All right, so we've got Legacy Church Center, and then, oh my lord, it's 1 a.m. and I didn't even realize it. We're going to call it a night after this one. I know we didn't get 10 channel reviews in, but I think this will be a good place to bookmark it with Legacy Center Church as our final review for the evening. My voice is about done anyway, so and this will be good timing. But before we do that, just let me go ahead and get a drink. I'm done with my kombucha here, so I think we'll just have water. We'll throw some lemon and magnesium in there for the health benefits. So let me do that real quick. And while I'm doing that, you guys can enjoy watching the trailer for my book. I do have a second book coming out, so hopefully you guys are pre-ordering my second book. That is going to be a book called The Creator Economy. How full-time creators profit from their passion, I think is the subtitle. Doug, if you have the link for that, can you please drop that in the chat so chat can pre-order my second book? But you also can, of course, order my current book, which is Create Something Awesome, How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. So we're going to see the book trailer while I get another drink. I finally did it. I finished my book, Create Something Awesome, How Content Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. The book is available now in paperback and in Kindle, where you can read it on any e-reader or device. And I'm really excited about this. The audiobook is coming soon, probably October 2022. Oh my God, it's so great to be able to have this book done, put it up on the bookshelf, and to know that all of you who appreciate it, you want to hear what I have to say about the creator economy, becoming a full-time content creator, and what the experience and lifestyle of being a content creator actually is like. This is the book. I put 20 chapters in here of the most important things I think that content creators could be focusing on today. I talk about the mental health aspect of being a content creator, getting discouraged, imposter syndrome, not charging what you're worth, and mostly actionable advice around monetizing your content properly, but also how to build an audience on your authenticity and what it's really like to start from zero, even today. So if you're interested, make sure you're checking out the book. You can order it on Amazon. You also probably order it in a lot of other places like Barnes & Noble, and it will be coming to other bookstores soon. Really excited about it. Thank you for all the support and love around the book and the positive reviews. Now go ahead and pick it up and make sure you go out there and create something awesome today. Take care. Looks like the ad finished without me. And Lamont says, thanks for including my church's channel, Roberto. I've been watching your content since you were doing tech reviews. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We're looking at potentially bringing a separate tech channel back, but we'll also include some roundup videos of the best options for you guys, especially budget options for stuff and everything like that. We're going to have a segment on the best vlogging cameras for YouTube and also the best beginner cameras for YouTube under $1,000. That sort of thing. I will be bringing back some tech videos to the channel, but then we're gonna do a spin-off channel, Creator Gear Guide, whole brand I want to build out, where we break down the best tech for creators with simple to understand videos. And that's gonna, again, probably be a video channel that I do more with my brother. And we're gonna figure out a schedule for that. Eventually the goal is to just have him edit all the videos, to be honest, and I just do production and help on that, and then he edits the videos and helps film them will be the plan. And so we hopefully will be doing cool stuff with that this summer. Hopefully we get that going this summer. That's the plan right now. We'll see how it goes, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and review Legacy Center Church. So We have Legacy Center Church. It's been a while since we've done a church channel here. I actually really like this banner. I think a slight drop shadow on the white text, just a little bit more. Little bit more. There is a drop shadow there, but if it could be a slightly darker drop shadow, I think it'll pop just a little bit more. I like the profile pic as is. So I think it's a nice inverse contrast to the main banner. So I'm perfectly happy with that. We are a non-denominational, multicultural family of believers that loves the presence of God, the power of God, and building people so they can leave a legacy of God on the ear. On the ear. I don't know about the on the ear part, but I love the rest of it. You have a welcome to Legacy Church video at the start, 3,000 subscribers, 693 videos. Let's see what the playlist is looking like. So the playlist, you have past live streams, prophetic worship, pioneers conference, and then you have legacy music and legacy kids. I think the playlist layout of the channel is a little thin, and then sudden break only has one video in it. So until it has more playlist, maybe I don't feature it here. If not, I would move it down. So from a layout standpoint, I think the playlist side is thin. So I think you might, especially with how many videos you guys have, I think don't lead with past live streams. I can push that down. You want things that feel that are more videos themselves, I think, or again, potentially the prophetic worship could move up, but I think you need to find 2 or 3 more playlists to fill this out. Strong thumbnails, at least the more recent ones, very strong thumbnails. But then the thumbnails of the past, I can tell to some degree, I think I can tell when you took over the channel. You must have taken over the channel just a couple of months ago because there's a transformation happening here. So I would even retroactively update the previous thumbnails to be consistent with the current brand. And you can't probably do all of them because it's just so many of them. However, I would probably just go back and maybe update the last previous 20 or so. I would update the previous 20 or so because I feel like that at least can help with the presentation of brand consistency. I'd also build out some more playlists based on updating those thumbnails for that. And then also I would build out the live streams into themes since the thumbnails here are stronger and put those themes as playlist on the homepage to make the brand stronger. And then the ones that don't have on brand thumbnails, I would address. So that's something that I would do to try to make that more cohesive. I would start to put together a branding Bible, pun intended, for different themes and different styles. And I would also remember, and I would approach the church and the concept of this as really making this something that people are going to watch on their TV. I really would go that way and think of it like being able to watch it on your TV. And if you're not in church on Sunday or whatever day you want to be, or Bible study that day, you can have it at home in the living room and watch it on that big 60, 75-inch TV. So I would do that in mind. And therefore, if you're also in charge of production, if you can get investment in production, always have investment in production, lighting, sound, have somebody all right, if you haven't already, build a media ministry. If it doesn't already exist, build a media ministry. Apprentice somebody to be able to get stills in mind for the thumbnails, so you don't have to pull them from the videos and to shoot with the edit and the thumbnail and branding in mind. So build a media ministry, apprentice someone in the church to be on videography and photography and make them a hybrid of video and photography, on production and editing. Bring someone into the media ministry to focus on audio design and being on deck, not just for live audio, but for recorded audio, and being able to have that in place to make sure that that's always on point for the videos. I'm assuming it is here because, again, remember, for copyright reasons, I can't play audio while I'm doing these reviews to not mess anything up. So I would do that. So again, audio, video slash photography, and also apprentice somebody to help with editing as well. And then for some of those edits, there can be clips. And if there are great sound bites, run clips, use Opus Clip to even potentially clip out individual shorter segments from sermons, ministries, and such that are happening, and then position those to have their own unique thumbnails and segments. If anyone wants to use Opus Clip, here's my link for it. And it's a really great AI tool that can get your shorts. And then if you connect it to your YouTube channel, it'll start clipping your shorts automatically for you. And then you can manually kind of update and tweak them. And it will have everything. It'll transcribe them. It just does so much. And it's a better tool than people think it is. So I would definitely look into it or try a trial and see how that can help. But yeah, I would build out a media ministry, and you would apprentice somebody who can be another editor, apprentice someone who can do production and photography, and so can not only help set up the cameras but take photos for the thumbnails. And that person can learn, and more than one person can learn graphic design. So a media ministry will consist of somebody learning, probably two people learning graphic design. One does photography and design potentially, and then one might do design and editing. So you have multiple people editing. You'll have a true apprentice that's doing photography, videography, and editing and learns that skill set. You'll have someone who learns audio for live and audio for recording in the media ministry. And you'll have somebody that is doing editing and video production. So you have multiple overlap here. So you have a small squad of 3 to 5 people operating within the media ministry. These people can be either older or younger people. They just have to have a passion for media. Younger people adds some longevity. Older people adds seasoning. And younger people do keep up with trends and can add value and get very easily into adopting technology. So again, that can be very helpful here. So that's what I would be building out around all of this and managing it. Again, we don't necessarily need a heavy content strategy since for the church and what its direction is. The content makes itself, so to speak. So not super heavy on leaning into the content strategy here, but from my standpoint, that's how the packaging would work, and that's how growing the support around this would help. And for cutting down the live streams, like I said, for cutting down the live streams, I think Opus Clip is your secret weapon and will help with this considerably. And again, I think you need to position around the idea of people watching this at home on their big screen more than you would think about them watching it on their phone. If you guys have the budget, always shoot in full frame 4K videos. So full frame cameras like the Sony lineup in 4K. You guys are non-denominational church, but you have a lot of people of darker complexion, so roughly my complexion. And I will tell you that Sony has better autofocusing, better color science if you have a darker complexion, and so it's much better at that and about the isolation around that. So that's part of why I use and obsessed with Sony cameras. And you've been watching me from my tech review days, so you know that I tried everything. I went from Panasonic. I did start with Nikon. technically I started with Sony, but that was with my flip camera. It was the Sony HD Bloggy. Um, so, um, so Sony camcorders to then Nikon crop sensor camera to Panasonic, which was Micro Four Thirds, then to Sony. Dabbled with Fuji, believe it or not. I do have some Canon cameras. I have tried everything. Sony was what held up the best and has the best technology, especially for that darker complexion. So, that's what I went with. So, from a production standpoint, again, the church already has to think about lighting. They're thinking about streaming. They're doing really good here. So again, it looks like you have good camera gear. Again, but you're streaming a lot of this, so you may not be able to do 4K because of the streaming component. But when the opportunity allows for it, I would do the 4K just because of how good it's going to look on a television screen. Um, it's church. If you're going to shoot in 1080, maybe you shoot in 60 frames per second. Because again, it's going to look really good on TV in 60 frames per second, in my opinion. It's going to feel like you're there. But 30 frames per second is also fine. So again, grain of salt there. You can make a decision about that. You seem like you're a technical enough guy. So, I mean, these are my thoughts around what you would do here. I think a lot of what you're already doing is working super well. I think it's a big improvement over what the church was doing before. I think the views are fine and I think they'll grow and grow and grow. So again, I think you're doing a great job. I think the key to a lot of this is um building out the media ministry, building a workflow for the clipping of the individual videos and the repurposing aspect, cutting down shorter form versions of these. There are sound bites when like someone really has something passionate. So breaking out some 10-minute, 5-minute, 6-minute sound bites out of those videos and so on and so forth. There are some things that can be repurposed for shorts, of course. Um, but I think that the clipping for the shorts will come more easily through Opus Clip out of what you already make, especially with its reframe tools and its AI. So yeah. And you said you're trying to get 60 frames per second across the board. Right now, you have a roaming camera that shoots at a higher frame rate. Yeah, you want your other cameras to absolutely sync up. And so you want 60, I would go 60 frames per second across the board. Yep, absolutely. The other thing I would consider is I don't know if the roaming camel's on a gimbal, but I would definitely get one of the DJI gimbals, and I would try to consider even the one that has built-in motion tracking as well, because that could always be helpful. So I'd look at the DJI gimbals. Hmm. Yeah, that's the main things and everything. I think that that's going to be the key here. And again, for this situation, I think a lot of the key is just building out that media ministry and having 2 to 3 overlapping skill sets per person to have enough coverage. And I think that that'll do it. So those are my thoughts around Legacy Center Church. And I think that they are building a great legacy. I think that they found a real gem and are blessed to have you, Lamont Dozer. So I think that you're doing a great job. I could tell immediately the difference of when you took over the channel. It was easy to spot, and I think you're heading in the right direction. And I think again, the key is building out a media ministry. And I think getting these young people into media and YouTube builds them skills that they can use and leverage later in life, whether they want to start their own YouTube channels, whether they want to start offering these services to faith-based businesses, whether they want to use it to market and build their own venture, whether they want to go into media themselves at some point in life. So again, I think that um, building a media ministry positions these young people for skills in the 21st century. If it's older, more senior folks, it gives them transitional skills and job training to go into the jobs of the future. I think that it also really shows that the church is modern in the right way, and by that I mean by embracing technology and using it to promote the ministry itself. And so I think that this would be the smart approach. Another point of reference would be if the person on the media ministry that handles the audio ministry could not only learn audio for live and recorded, but if anyone could learn music production and virtual music production and doing composition using Logic or Reason, which would be Apple software, Logic or Reason, or Fruity Loops or something like that, or Cakewalk from Sonar, or Ableton Live, then uh, original music with no copyrights could then be produced for the music ministry, and then there's never anything to worry about because then you guys would have the music and own the rights to it. And I think I saw you guys have like a music channel that you're doing, so maybe there's someone in the music ministry that's already doing that in the media ministry or something similar. But I think that having your own internal non-copyright music and having full rights and ownership is a practical approach for something like this as well. Just never worry about it. um hmm And yeah, so I think that that ultimately covers it. And so those are my thoughts around this. So I'd love feedback on anybody from this. Do you agree with me? Would you do anything differently? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section if you're watching the replay. Let me know in the chat if you're still watching live. Boom, there you go, Lamont. I think that was really solid. I think you're doing a great job. Like I said, I think the 60 frames per second is really going to make this pop a little bit more, especially on that big screen. If someone's watching on the at home on the 65-inch. So yeah. Oh, your musicians are capable of producing with FL and Ableton actually. Great. Fantastic. So yep, definitely solid there. Um so yeah, so like I said, I think you're doing a great job already. There were just some minor things that I feel could be improved. And I think it's more production than it even is editing. I think it's workflow. That's why I introduced you to Opus Clip. And again, that is my affiliate link, but like I do genuinely believe that it will help speed up the workflow for clipping things, cutting things down, repurposing long form and live streams into short form and things of that nature. So I do think that that will help you considerably. So I was just checking something in the frame because I thought I saw something move in a weird way. I was hoping nothing fell, but nope, everything's good. Um, so yeah, so that's something to take into consideration. And I think the general overall advice I gave for you was probably ideal. I do think that this is a good point about taking everything and then publishing as an audio podcast. You could also take everything from the video, and if you use Spotify for creators, it's video and audio, and it'll pull out the audio as well. Or you could add a separate audio track if you need an intro or outro that's separate or something like that. So I do think you benefit there. Trying to think. Yeah, so I think that that's a really good idea of that. So and everything, maybe someone's in charge of the podcast ministry. So yeah. Yeah, you'll find that with Opus Clip that it will automate the process of taking selects when you link it to the YouTube channel. And let's say you finish a live stream, like example, this live stream, Opus Clip is going to literally be able to find and clip every different individual channel review. And then on my secondary backup channel, my highlights channel, I'm gonna really just start actually adding all of the live channel reviews, the clips of individual channels that I reviewed are going to go to the highlights channel as complete reviews, and also the questions will go up by themselves, and also we're going to post those on X and probably Facebook as well, now that I'm monetizing Facebook. So we're going to look at doing that, and Opus is going to automate the entire process for the most part. And then I'm just going to do very minor decision making. So it's going to make life really easy to start doing this and putting that content out that way. In my case, I'm just not going to put it on the main channel because there's a certain way the main channel videos have to be. But yeah. So Opus Clip, totally overpowered if used properly. So that's magnesium, little bit of salt, and some lemon in there. Mm. And that's gonna help me sleep at night too. Very good just for your overall health in terms of just activating certain things. Magnesium, lemon juice, salt. Should be doing anything SEO wise. The main thing for you guys SEO wise is your titles shouldn't be SEO driven because they should be emotionally driven uh, for people to be attracted. You attract your tribe with your titles. So in your case, no, not really. The SEO that will come will be the organic SEO in the description, largely in the timestamp chapter names should then be SEO driven in terms of who will search for or look for those things or be attracted to those things. So your SEO in this case is going to be in the timestamps in the description. And we know that this works, by the way, because the timestamps themselves show up in YouTube search, they show up in Google search as a result independently. So you will do that. And your SEO will be optimized also by not the featured playlists that are on the YouTube homepage of your channel, but playlists that are not on the homepage that still exist that you can do for SEO purposes for search playlist. So those are non-featured playlists. And if you're wondering what featured versus non-featured playlists are, think about it as audience versus algorithm playlist. Audience playlists are the playlists that are on your YouTube channel page that you lay out and that you put all there for your layout. And those are audience-driven playlists. Algorithm playlists are not featured on your homepage and they're just in the playlist catalog and they exist specifically for how people might search for the videos that are grouped in that playlist. So you would optimize that for search instead of the titles of individual videos, because for videos that are for driving and attracting more tribe and yeah, and the faith-based audience, those titles have to be more like those Netflix style pull you in titles. So that's what would make sense. So you'll make playlist for search. You will make descriptions that can benefit search, but mostly leveraging timestamp chapters. Timestamp chapters. You'll want to put links to certain videos and playlist in the description themselves, and that will be your SEO. At some point, I will do a 15 tips for YouTube SEO video on the channel. Like, I already know how my 100 videos for this year are going to play out, even though I'm starting later in the year. I'm starting in the back half of the year, but I already know how my 100 videos are going to play out. So I'm going to do a bunch of videos that are 15 tips videos. I know I'm going to do a bunch of those. So that's going to be part of my 100 videos, right? So 15 tips for SEO, 15 tips for YouTube monetization, 15 tips for that. So I know I'm going to do a bunch of 15 tips for new YouTubers, 15 tips for YouTube beginners, 15 for small YouTubers, 15 tips for small channels. There will be, so I know I'm going to do a bunch of 15 tips videos, 15 tips for thumbnails, 15 tips for titles, 15 tips for best 15 AI tools for YouTubers. So I know I'm going to do the listicle videos for 15 tips. Then I know I'm going to do listicle videos that are how to do this in 6 simple steps, how to do this in 6 easy steps. So it's the 6-step process videos. So I know there's a bunch of those. Here are 5 tips for this. Then I also know I'm going to do a 10 tips in 5 minutes series. So I know I'm going to do that. Then I know I'm going to do the no BS advice for this, no BS advice for this, harsh advice for this, the harsh truth about this. So I know that those are the videos I'm going to make. Pretty much simple. And then, of course, there are going to be some videos that are straight up how to do this, how to do this, how to do this. So I know my video formats and framing for my subjects. So I have these like 5 formats that I know make sense. And so these 5 formats that make sense, I pick individual subjects for them. They're kind of 20 things I really want to hit. And so I just make these 5 formats for the 20 things I want to hit. There I go. 100 videos. Um, how do I super chat? would love a channel review, although I have private so much of my content from fear. So Francis Stone, what I would say is come back next week because we're wrapping up tonight. We are doing less than 10 of them tonight because voice is tired and it's 1 in the morning and it's super late. But come back next week and definitely do that. And you can super chat using the chat in the bottom, and there is a $sign there, and it teaches you, and you are able to super chat. So just come back next week because it's closing time, and we can get you in. And again, it's okay if you've privated some of your content from fear. Sometimes that happens, but just think about what you want to get from a review, and we can try and make that happen. I will try and schedule it next week instead of doing it super late like this. I just had so much stuff going on today that I had to do it super late, but probably around 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. So time to be determined. But next week, I'll definitely schedule it. Lamont says, last question. I've been researching other churches and have thought about having sister channels for both senior pastors, but excerpts that link back. Do you think that's a good strategy? I think building a personal brand channel for those pastors and setting them up with personal brand channels and building out a strategy for those channels for their personal brand around a vision or a thesis or something they want to be known for, I think is practical. If they haven't written books already, they should be writing books. So they should build out a brand around that, around books, and there can be a whole thing done with that. So I think that their individual channels should be handled as a personal brand, and that there should be content pillars built out for those personal brand channels, and that they should also be writing books. And so then I think there can be a somewhat of a link back strategy, but I think that they should have standalone channels that are built as brands. And I think they can be under the umbrella of the media ministry, but I think that they should have personal brand channels that stand on their own. And I think that they should have a unique content strategy that fits for their dynamic personalities. So one of the pastors has a brand with their own channel, but not for the other. Yeah. And I think that there should be branding Bibles built for these channels, which is a like colloquial term, by the way. It's a term we have for design and marketing when we say branding Bibles, because it's our guidelines. It's our like, here is the definitive locked in. We do not, so it tells you, here's the colors you use and under what circumstances. Here is the hex value and RGB value and CMYK value of the colors that are for the brand. Here are the fonts for the brand. Here's how the layouts are done. Here's this. So like building out the branding Bible, these guidelines for each personal brand, and then for each YouTube channel, and then even for each series in a channel is ideal. And so you'll definitely want to do that. And so it's something to think about. Lamont, you're the kind of person that if you can get it from the budget, you guys, you should consider doing at least one call with me as a 90-minute strategy call, and we could talk about a lot of this in depth and detail. And I'd be happy to work with you on framing out a lot of this and answering a lot of your questions directly. So if it's something that the church has in the budget, set up a one-on-one 90-minute strategy call with me. Would love to talk with you more about this and help you go through it in a little bit more depth and a little bit more detail in a one-on-one call. Especially if you're going to be managing multiple channels, my friend, you might need a little bit of guidance on managing multiple channels and also putting together the workflows and systems that help with that. And then a framework for what the guidance and leadership of the media ministry might look like working with this, and then also an expansion strategy for social media that goes well beyond YouTube, because you could repurpose a lot of this, and I think it might be beneficial to do that as well. Plus, an archival and backup strategy for backing up all of the footage and such, and storing it for archival. You might have noticed that over there by the play button, I actually have a NAS. That's a network attached storage. At some point on this channel, I definitely want to do a video that is a tutorial video on backing up video footage and walking people through that. My friend Sarah Dici did a great video and tech series on that, and organizing her NAS setup. So I think that that can be incredibly helpful. So at some point I want to put together a video like that. And like I said, at some point I do want to get back to some tech ish content that relates to content creators, because again, I think I can help a lot of you guys with things like camera production and stuff like that, and what to buy, because I'm really into gear. I'm really, everyone who knows me knows how much I'm into gear and how much I love it and how much gear I have. And it might feel a little absurd for like, you just do YouTube videos, but again, I even have the like camera switching here and everything. I love that I have this to where I'm like sitting here and I can just turn the lights off when I'm done. So I love how easy the systems that I built through the tech allow me to just make this really convenient and really easy to do, and do it at a very high quality. So those are things that I think people would enjoy. So yeah, it's just something to think about. Yeah, Matt, definitely. Appreciate seeing you, man. Started down to 360 and VR 360 rabbit hole with Condo, and it's been crazy ride just a few months. My brother is super into the VR stuff and everything like that. He uses my Meta Quest. So he's super into the VR stuff, the AR stuff. He just bought and his first desktop PC. It was like an $1,800. I think it has the Anchor Lake processor or whatever the new Intel processor is. He's got a 570 Ti for the graphics card. So the graphics card has virtual RAM, 16 gigs of virtual RAM, I believe, in that um, f- uh, 5070 Ti. So the 5070 Ti from NVIDIA, massive, the crazy amount of CUDA cores. I think his working amount of cores on the Intel processors, like something like 20 working cores. So like it's fully teched out. Like so, that's gonna be wild for him. He's never bought a computer before, so this is his first one. It's always been hand-me-down computers, so he's really into it. Patricia says, I can relate because I'm a gadget girl. Yeah. Gadget gang represent. So yeah. Um, I'm less into the 360 stuff, but I do think that there is a real niche for it. And I think that like YouTube does support 360 video. The editing for it is really challenging though. So that's like a thing that even I don't like touching, because I was like, I've tried it before. It's like, oh my God, the editing is so weird. But yeah, I did own a Samsung 360 camera. Um, and that's why I also know, wow, editing on this is really weird. And like the software support for 360 editing on some software is not really up to snuff, and it's super annoying. But yeah. Yeah, it's very challenging, and rendering the metadata is tough. Yeah, tell me about it. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. But it's been a great night talking with all of you guys. It's been great reviewing the channels that we have. Thank you again to the mods for roughing it out on a super late night stream, night owl edition out here. It's been my pleasure. We've been multi-streaming out here with StreamYard. Shout out to our friends, of course, at oneof10.com for sponsoring the channel review streams. We will have a strategy workshop after I finish the Business of YouTube workshop over the next couple of weeks, starting next Wednesday. So I hope you guys will tune in for that. We should have another round of channel reviews this Friday. Next Friday is after the Friday after this next one, which would be the 20th, I believe. That one's a little rough because I will be in California doing VidCon, but if I can do a stream for you guys for channel reviews, the following Friday, Friday after next, for the 20th, I will. I'll absolutely try my best to do it while I'm in California at VidCon, but the next day, I'm speaking on stage to close out VidCon for last day, and it will also be my birthday, so that'll be cool. And also, while we're in town on Friday and Saturday, I think different people want to try to do stuff with me, so I think that's going to be interesting to try to celebrate my birthday. So those are things we are up to. But anyway, it's been great hanging out with all of you guys. Make sure you check out everything we have linked in the description. Make sure you're checking out awesomecreatoracademy.com. You're going to learn more about that here as we close out the stream. Stay awesome, and we will catch you on the next one. Take care. Becoming a content creator can be a very lonely process and adventure, but it doesn't have to be. When I first got started going from 0 to 100,000 subscribers, I had to do it all by myself. I didn't have a community of like-minded and like-hearted creators to talk to or to ask for advice, and I certainly didn't have a mentor to guide me along the way. I built the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group because when I was getting started, what would have meant the world to me is not to have to struggle alone when it comes to being a full-time content creator. If I had had a community of creators that I could talk to and share information with, I would have avoided a lot of mistakes in my early career, and there would have been opportunities with brand deals where I would have gotten a better understanding of how to negotiate, and I wouldn't have undersold myself. I wouldn't have been taken advantage of in those early situations. So in the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group, myself and our co-instructor Andy Rivera, we meet twice a week for office hours with our creators, and we share information, we talk about how we're building our creator businesses, and we offer constructive criticism and critique on the things that we're working on for our projects. You'll be part of a community of usually around 100 like-minded creators who are taking this seriously just like you are. You'll also have all access as a pro group member to all of our past, present, and future courses, training, templates, digital downloads, and swipe files. You have full access to our creator blueprints where you'll see our systems and the frameworks that we use to execute. You know, you always fall or rise to the standard of your systems. A lot of people really underestimate how important that is. We have digital download templates that can help you so you don't have to start with a blank canvas. These done for you files are actually incredibly helpful, especially for things like your thumbnails, your media kits, and anything you need for your branding as a content creator to look professional. We have email swipe files that help you with reaching out to brands. We have great information in helping you price yourself and build your packages appropriately. And remember, as part of the pro group, you have the opportunity to ask questions from myself and all the other creators participating. And so this means that if you need to ask questions about a negotiation or a brand deal, there's something you're not sure about, you're trying to find a better monetization opportunity with merch or affiliates, you have people who have done it before, who are already making money, that you can reach out to for advice. As I said, when I was starting out and I was flying solo, this is the thing that I wish I'd had the opportunity to be a part of, and it would have made all the difference in the world in helping me be an even more successful content creator. If you have questions, you can always reach out via support. We're happy to help you figure out if the pro group is right for you. Also, we do have the opportunity for you to become a VIP member if you also would like quarterly one-on-one coaching with me directly. Now go out there and create something awesome today, and hopefully we'll see you in the pro group.